Just because of one sentence. You're disgusting. I disappeared without anyone knowing. Everyone thought I was just sulking, that I would come back on my own once I cooled down. But 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, a month, a year passed. I never appeared again. I once thought my love for her would never fade, until I saw Yifei post a photo, a side profile picture of Fu Wanting cooking in the kitchen, with the caption, "After all these years, you're still the only one willing to spend 3 hours cooking for me." The post was made on the 3rd wedding anniversary of me and Fu Wanting. I finally came to my senses. Our 3-year marriage was nothing but one-sided love, but when I handed her the divorce papers, she tore them up right in front of my face and cornered me against the wall. "Lin Yichen, you want a divorce?" Over my dead body. After saying that, Fu Wanting turned and left without any hesitation. It was the same every time we argued before. She would give me the cold shoulder directly, until I had to bow my head and admit I was wrong. Once I decided to let go, I realized just how pathetic I used to be. So pathetic that she didn't even bother to comfort me with a single word. But it won't be like that anymore. The next morning, I found a lawyer to draft the divorce papers. While printing them, the lawyer couldn't help but advise me. "Mr. Lin, the Fu Corporation is currently worth hundreds of billions. You've been by CEO Fu's side for 3 years, and you've always been at a disadvantage by having a secret marriage. It wouldn't be unreasonable to ask CEO Fu for a few $100 million. I gave a bitter laugh. "There's no need. I just want to divorce her as soon as possible." Seeing that, the lawyer didn't press further, handed me the divorce papers and left. Flipping the divorce papers to the last page, I didn't hesitate. I signed my name directly. Taking off the ring on my hand, I placed it on top of the divorce papers, got up, went upstairs, and started packing. In less than an hour, I had finished packing. I didn't have many things, and I didn't need the things Fu Wanting bought for me, so just one suitcase was enough. I took one last look at the villa I had lived in for 3 years. There was no lingering attachment in my eyes. Things that don't belong to you are useless no matter how hard you try. It took me 3 years to understand this principle, but it's not too late. Turned and walked out of the villa. A black Land Rover was parked at the gate. Seeing me, he honked once. After I put away my luggage, I opened the passenger door and got in. After I sat down, Shen Hao raised his eyebrow and asked, "Have you really decided to leave?" My gaze was cold. "I've already called you. That means I've already made my decision." Shen Hao chuckled and said as he started the car, "I've wanted you to dump Fu Wanting for a long time. You put all your effort into healing her leg. I can't believe she'd mess around with your younger brother who's abroad. She's such a green tea bitch. What's the point of love? Your career suits you better." Seeing him get angrier as he spoke, the car's speed also increased. I couldn't help but smirk. "Calm down a bit. I don't want to have just escaped the grave of marriage, only to end up in a real grave." Seeing that I was still in the mood to joke, Shen Hao finally let out a sigh of relief. He tentatively asked, "What are your plans next?" "I'll rest for a while first. How's the company been lately?" Hearing that, Shen Hao's expression changed, and he sighed and said, "Let's talk about that after you've rested." I frowned, judging by his expression. It's probably not good, but I don't have the mind to take over the company right now. So I nodded and said, "Okay, take me straight to the airport." "Where are you going?" "Haven't thought about it yet. I'll just pick a place when I get there." Shen Hao sighed inwardly. It seems that no matter how capable someone is, once they get involved in matters of love, they lose all reason. Arriving at the airport, after I got out of the car, I looked at Shen Hao and said, "Help me send my luggage to the villa in Yushu Bay, North City." "How long will you be back?" "Probably about a month." "Okay, I'll wait for you." I waved nonchalantly and turned to enter the airport. A month later, in the meeting room of the Fu Corporation's Seattle branch, Fu Wanting's phone suddenly rang. Seeing it was her father, Fu Shuhan, she frowned. The moment she answered, Fu Shuhan's dissatisfied voice came through the phone. "Wanting, I've been to the villa to find Yichen several times. He's never home. Did you two have a fight? Is that why he's deliberately giving me an attitude?" Fu Shuhan's voice was full of dissatisfaction and anger. He already disliked me, and this time his impression of me was even worse. When Fu Shuhan called, she just realized that I hadn't contacted her for a whole month. This had never happened before. "I'll call him later. Did you need him for something, Dad?" Fu Shuhan said irritably, "It's your grandmother's birthday soon. I was going to ask him to go pick out a birthday gift for her with me. Who knew I'd be rejected several times in a row? If only you had married Yifei in the first place, it wouldn't be like." Fu Wanting frowned and interrupted him, saying faintly, "I know, I'll call him. I'll call you back later." She hung up. Fu Wanting found my number and called. She called several times in a row, but the line was always busy. Fu Wanting's expression immediately darkened. It was clear I had blocked her number. She suppressed her anger. She turned to Kei Jing and said, "Call Lin Yichen." Yes, Kei Jing's call went through, but no one answered. Looking at Fu Wanting's increasingly dark expression, Kei Jing ventured, "CEO Fu, he's not picking up." Fu Wanting's face was as cold as ice. "I know. I'm continuing the meeting. You contact the villa's management office." An hour later, as soon as Fu Wanting stepped out of the meeting room, Kei Jing approached, trembling. The villa management said that on the second day after you left for your business trip, Mr. Lin left with his suitcase. Because Fu Wanting and I had a secret marriage, Kei Jing always called me Mr. Lin. Previously, Fu Wanting didn't think anything was wrong with it, but now she subconsciously frowned. Trying to suppress the uncomfortable feeling in her heart, she said coldly, "Go find out where he is right now. Book the earliest flight back home." "Yes. So is Mr. Lin Yifei coming back with us?" Fu Wanting was silent for a few seconds before speaking. "You call him." They hadn't been in Seattle for work for long. Lin Yifei had also followed them. Ostensibly, he said he was there for a business survey, but everyone at the branch knew he came here to pursue Fu Wanting. After a 19-hour flight, the plane finally landed safely at Longcheng Airport. During these 10-plus hours, Kajing also witnessed Fu Wanting's meticulous care for Lin Yifei. After getting off the plane, they walked towards the airport exit together. In the crowd, Fu Wanting subconsciously protected Lin Yifei. "I used to go on business trips with Fu Wanting before, but during the whole process, I was the one helping her handle tasks." Fu Wanting's attitude towards me was quite cold. Compared to me, Lin Yifei, on the other hand, was more like her capable assistant. At the same time, I also walked out from another airport exit. I was wearing a loose sports t-shirt, a pair of sunglasses, with a faint smile on my face, in a pretty good mood. Shen Hao was already waiting at the airport gate. Seeing me, he immediately waved. Seeing him, the smile on my lips grew wider, and I pushed my suitcase, quickening my steps towards him. However, just as I was about to reach Shen Hao, I noticed Shen Hao's expression was a bit unpleasant as he looked behind me. A flash of surprise appeared in my eyes as I turned my head to look. My hand pushing the suitcase unconsciously tightened, but my face remained expressionless. Without waiting for Shen Hao to speak, I turned back to look at him and said, "Let's go." Seeing my calm expression, with no emotional fluctuations in my eyes, Shen Hao couldn't guess whether I had truly let go of Fu Wanting or not. The two of us walked out while talking, oblivious to a sharp gaze fixed on us. Sensing Fu Wanting's strangeness, Lin Yifei gently patted her shoulder. "Sister Wanting, what's wrong?" Fu Wanting retracted her gaze, shook her head, and said it was nothing. That figure reminded her of me, but I never wore loose sports t-shirts. The clothes I wore always looked very mature at first glance. She frowned and looked at Kajing with annoyance, saying, "Still haven't found where he is?" Kajing didn't dare to look Fu Wanting in the eye and said with her head down, "We'll definitely find Mr. Lin's specific location today." The air around Fu Wanting grew much colder as she said frigidly, "Take Yifei home. I'm going back to the villa." It was past 7 p.m. when she returned to the villa. The villa was pitch black. Opening the door, a wave of dust hit her face. Fu Wanting frowned instinctively. Before, whenever she came back, the first person she saw was me with a gentle, smiling face. Now, what greeted her was a dark emptiness. She turned on the living room lights. The house was covered in a layer of dust. It was very clear, just as the management office had said. I really hadn't been back. I had sulked with her before, but I had never stayed away from home for a whole month. Fu Wanting vaguely had a bad feeling. This feeling peaked when she saw the divorce papers and the ring on the living room table. Because no one had cleaned for a long time, the divorce papers were covered in a layer of dust. Fu Wanting picked it up and flipped to the last page, and indeed I had already signed it. An unprecedented rage surged within her. Fu Wanting clenched the divorce papers tightly. Her expression was extremely ugly. Just as Fu Wanting was uncontrollably angry, her phone suddenly rang. "CEO Fu, we've found Mr. Lin's whereabouts. He is currently in North City." Sensing Kajing's hesitation, Fu Wanting said in a cold voice, "Tell me exactly where he is in North City." "He's in a villa. The owner of that villa is the recently famous actress, Shi Dao." At that moment, I had also just arrived at the villa. Opening the door, I saw Shi Dao. A hint of surprise flashed in my eyes. "Why are you here?" The corners of Shi Dao's mouth curved into a smile, and she spoke with a gentle expression. "Long time no see. I happened to have a schedule in Longcheng, so I came to stay for a night. I didn't know you were coming. If it's inconvenient, I'll leave right away." Shi Dao was one of the artists I used to manage, and also the most hard-working one. I admired her greatly. Even though I didn't manage her later on, I still found her a top manager in the industry. In recent years, Shi Dao has also become increasingly famous. After learning about Shi Dao's difficult family situation, I gave her the key to this villa, telling her she could come and stay any time. After that, I married Fu Wanting, and I poured all my energy into healing Fu Wanting's leg. So I had forgotten about this. It's fine. It's not early anymore. With your face now, the head-turning rate is 100%. Staying at a hotel isn't convenient either. Leave tomorrow. Seeing that I was about to pull my luggage upstairs, Shi Dao came up to me and said, "Are you planning to move in here?" Her tone held a hint of cautious probing, but I didn't notice and nodded, saying, "So it might not be very convenient for you to stay here in the future. I know. I'm already very grateful that you let me stay here for free all these years." Seeing her serious expression, I couldn't help but chuckle. "You're an actress of the year now. You could buy 10 villas like this." The corners of Shi Dao's mouth curled up slightly. She had already bought the villa next to mine a long time ago, but she still liked this place because it held traces of my life. "Want some coffee?" "I'm making coffee." "Sure, but I need to take a shower first." After I carried my luggage upstairs, Shi Dao smiled and went back to the kitchen to continue grinding coffee beans. Just as she finished making the coffee, the doorbell rang. She went to the door. Looking through the peephole at the person outside, she was momentarily surprised. It was the CEO of the Fu Corporation, Fu Wanting. But why was Fu Wanting here? Could she be looking for me? While Shidao was thinking, Fu Wanting outside the door had lost her patience, ringing the doorbell several times in a row. The door finally opened. However, the person who opened the door was not me, but a woman Fu Wanting had never met. A cold glint flashed in Fu Wanting's eyes. The anger in her heart was almost uncontrollable. Where is Lin Yichin? Sensing the other party's ill intentions, Shidao frowned. He's taking a shower. CEO Fu, do you need him for something? Fu Wanting let out a cold laugh. Every word she uttered seemed to be laced with ice. I'm his wife. What do you think I'm here for? Surprise flickered in Shidao's eyes. Her hand on the doorknob unconsciously turned white. Her whole body felt as if struck by lightning, stunned on the spot. Shidao, you're standing at the door? Before I could finish, I saw Fu Wanting across from Shidao. I couldn't help but frown. What are you doing here? Fu Wanting let out a cold laugh. Her gaze on me was extremely cold. Did I come at a bad time, interrupting your good time? My hand drying my hair unconsciously tightened, but my expression was calm as I said, you must have seen the divorce papers. When you have time, let's go finalize the divorce. I don't agree to the divorce. Come back with me. With that, Fu Wanting reached out to grab my hand. Shidao, who was beside me, finally reacted and blocked my way. Fu Wanting looked at Shidao with an icy expression and said coldly, get lost if you don't want to be blacklisted. Shidao confronted her coldly. There was no fear in her eyes. If CEO Fu wants to blacklist me, I'm afraid it won't be that simple. Besides, Brother Yichin doesn't seem to want to go with you. Her connections in the entertainment industry over the years are not insignificant. It's not like a single word from Fu Wanting could get her frozen. A cold glint flashed in Fu Wanting's eyes. She took out her phone and made a call directly. At this moment, I, standing behind Shidao, spoke up. Fu Wanting, don't drag uninvolved people into this. Let's talk. Fu Wanting put down her phone, but the anger in her heart burned even more fiercely. She looked at me coldly and said, so you're feeling sorry for her already? I've only been away from Longsheng for a month, and you've already started keeping a woman. You're really something. I ignored her and turned to look at Shidao, saying, Shidao, go inside first. Shidao's eyes showed some worry, but the two of them were husband and wife. She had no right to interfere in their matters. Call me if anything happens. After Shidao left, I turned my head to look at Fu Wanting, about to speak, when Fu Wanting dragged me out with one hand. What are you pulling? I was furious. This crazy woman, we're about to get divorced and she still has no ladylike grace. Why was I so blind back then to insist on marrying her? Fu Wanting, with a cold face, said nothing and pushed me directly into the car. She got in from the other side, started the car. She drove very fast, reaching halfway up the mountain in a flash. I gritted my teeth and looked at her. Let me out. Fu Wanting, is this fun for you? Seatbelt. Fu Wanting gripped the steering wheel tightly, the veins on her hands popping. One could imagine how angry she was right now. I didn't move, looking at her with an indifferent expression and said, Fu Wanting, when I said I wanted a divorce last time, it wasn't just in a fit of anger. Stop being unreasonable. I'm serious. The sharp pain made her furrow her brows tightly. She sucked in a breath of cold air. The black Maybach screeched to a halt by the roadside. Due to inertia, my head hit the windshield hard. Before I could recover, I heard Fu Wanting let out a cold laugh. Divorce me. So you can be with that vixen? I advise you to give up that idea soon. I held my forehead, filled with anger. Fu Wanting, are you insane? You like Lin Yifei? I've already backed off. What more are you not satisfied with? Fu Wanting's face was as cold as ice. What does this have to do with Yifei? I sneered. How is it not related? Do you dare say he isn't the one in your heart? As soon as I finished speaking, the two of them fell silent. A long while later, Fu Wanting looked at me with an icy expression and spoke. What right do you have to criticize me? At least I wouldn't do anything to wrong you. But you don't come home at night. You're with another woman in her villa. What does it mean to wrong me? Does it only count as wronging me if I catch you in the act? Seeing the anger on her face, I suddenly calmed down, averted my gaze, and said calmly, no matter what you say, I am determined to get this divorce. What if I keep disagreeing? I felt a bit frustrated, a cold glint flashing in my eyes. I didn't want to say another word to Fu Wanting now. Noticing my attitude towards her was completely different from usual, Fu Wanting frowned deeply. Just as she was about to speak, her phone suddenly rang. Seeing it was Lin Yifei, she glanced at me and still answered. Yifei, what's wrong? Sister Wanting, the power is out at the villa. Can you come over? Lin Yifei's voice was a little shaky. Don't be scared. We'll be right over. It'll be fine. She hung up. She noticed I was looking at her with a mocking expression. For the first time, Fu Wanting explained. The power is out at the villa. I'm going to Yifei's place to check. Take a taxi back yourself. After a few seconds of silence, she continued. About the divorce, I advise you to give up on that idea. I will not agree. My expression was indifferent, as I said each word clearly. Fu Wanting, whether you agree or not has nothing to do with me. I don't love you anymore, so I am determined to get this divorce. I pushed open the car door, got out, and turned to walk back. The black Maybach stayed parked for a moment. Finally, it drove in the opposite direction from me. In the car, Fu Wanting looked in the rearview mirror, my shrinking figure filling her with frustration. I had walked back about 100 meters when I received a call from Shi Dao. Brother Yichin, where are you? Hearing the anxiety in her voice, my heart warmed a little. I'm halfway up the mountain, on my way back. Where's CEO Fu? There was no private emotion in my eyes. I said calmly, she's gone. So she left you in the middle of the night, alone halfway up the mountain. I'm coming to pick you up now. Wait for me for 5 minutes. Without giving me a chance to refuse, Shi Dao hung up after speaking. I put my phone away and stood there waiting for Shi Dao. When Shi Dao arrived, I was standing by the road, listlessly kicking pebbles. Hearing the sound of an engine, I looked up and saw Shi Dao's car stop in front of me. She pushed open the car door and got out. Seeing I was okay, she let out a sigh of relief. She quickly walked over to my side and opened the passenger door. Brother Yichin, get in the car. Seeing how thoughtful she was, I couldn't help but smile and tease. No wonder so many guys always say they want to be your boyfriend. You're too thoughtful. Shi Dao also smirked. What about you? Do you think I'd make a good girlfriend? Seeing her casual expression, I knew she was joking. I played along and nodded, saying, very suitable. If you were a girlfriend, you'd definitely be a perfect 10. A flash of disappointment appeared in Shi Dao's eyes, but she still smiled and said, too bad the person I like doesn't like me. I patted her shoulder comfortingly. What a coincidence. The person I like doesn't like me either. Shi Dao couldn't help but laugh and shake her head. Your way of comforting is terrible. It makes me feel even sadder. All right, let's go back quickly. I have to start work tomorrow. Shi Dao raised her eyebrows. Are you going back to being my manager? Well, not exactly. Besides, you already have a manager. Even if I come back to manage someone else, I can't manage you. Shi Dao smiled. She didn't say anything more. Back at the villa, the coffee had long gone cold, and I was no longer in the mood for coffee. I wished Shi Dao a good night and went to my room. The next morning, I woke up, freshened up, and went downstairs. I saw Shen Hao already waiting for me in the first-floor living room. I quickly went downstairs. CEO Shen, would you consider giving me another day off? Shen Hao let out a cold laugh, like a man-eating demon. He threw the stack of documents in his hands directly into my arms. You've rested for 3 years, and you still want to rest? Finish reading all these documents on the way to the company. We have a tough battle to fight today. I looked at the documents in my arms, a little speechless. So much work on the first day. Shen Hao said, don't even mention it. In the 3 years you weren't here, those old foxes have nearly turned my upside down. They've stuffed all sorts of their relatives into the company. They're all parasites who just collect money and do nothing. If you hadn't come back, the company would have gone bankrupt sooner or later. On the way to the company, Shen Hao couldn't contain his gossipy nature. By the way, when I came to see you this morning, I saw the new rising actress Shi Dao at your house. You haven't been divorced from Fu Wanting for long, and you've already started keeping an actress? My gaze shifted from the documents to his face, and I said seriously, she and I are just ordinary friends. Secondly, Fu Wanting and I haven't finalized the divorce yet, so she's not my ex-wife right now. Surprise flashed in Shen Hao's eyes. So, you haven't divorced Fu Wanting yet, and you've already started keeping an actress? I was speechless. Did you even pass literature class back then? Shen Hao lifted his chin. Of course. I used to be first in my class, I teased. Were you the only one in your class? Brother Yichin, you'd better shut up. I didn't say anything more and went back to reading the documents. I hadn't been reading for long when my phone suddenly rang. Seeing it was an unknown number, a flash of doubt appeared in my eyes. Just as I answered, Fu Wanting's teeth-gritting voice came through. I hung up and turned off the phone immediately. I tossed the phone to Shen Hao and said, get me a new SIM card and cancel this one. Shen Hao, thinking about how I teased him earlier, said sarcastically, I'm not your secretary. Go find your own secretary. I closed the documents, raised an eyebrow and said, all right then. Anyway, I think Mai is beyond saving. Maybe we should just file for bankruptcy directly. Shen Hao hurriedly said, don't. I'll go do it for you right now, okay? Seeing his fawning look, I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. I was just joking with you earlier. Don't take it seriously. Arriving at Mai, the first thing I did was call a shareholders meeting. An hour later, the usually arrogant shareholders walked out one by one with pale faces, their eyes full of anger. Soon, only Shen Hao and I were left in the meeting room. Shen Hao gave me a thumbs up, saying with an admiring expression, CEO Lin, you really are a seasoned veteran. Seeing you make that bunch of old guys dazed and speechless, I've never seen them so pathetic. I gave him a cold glance and said expressionlessly, immediately make a list of the people other shareholders stuffed into Mai. Organize it and give it to me. We'll start layoffs tomorrow. A flash of surprise appeared in Shen Hao's eyes. So fast? Those old foxes just suffered a loss at your hands today. Their anger hasn't subsided yet. Now we're touching their people. I'm afraid it will cause their dissatisfaction. I said, if anyone has an opinion, tell them to come to my office to find me. After saying that, I stood up and left immediately. Now that I have a general grasp of Mai's problems, if they're not resolved quickly, Mai probably won't last until next year before going bankrupt. Returning to the office after 3 years, I didn't have much time to feel sentimental. I started working immediately. In less than an hour, the news of Mai's founder's return had spread throughout Longqing's business circle. I'd never shown my face to others before. I was very mysterious to the outside world. Everyone was guessing if his return this time was to pull Mai back from the brink of bankruptcy. the CEO's office of the Few Corporation. Few Wanting was still trying to contact me, but the other side always indicated the phone was off. Her patience was also gradually running out. As soon as Keijing entered the office, she felt as if she were in the freezing cold of winter. Even her steps unconsciously became much lighter. CEO Fu, our plan to acquire Mai might have to be postponed. I heard that Mai's founder returned today. Wanting frowned and said somewhat absent-mindedly, the acquisition plan will proceed. On top of the original basis, add another 100 million. Keijing said, Mai's founder returned this time probably to save Mai. If it's an acquisition, Mai isn't the best choice. Few Wanting's expression was cold. She said frigidly, continue the acquisition. If the money isn't enough, just increase it. I don't want to say it a third time. Also, send someone to watch the gate of Shidao's villa. Notify me immediately once Lin Yichin appears. Keijing clearly saw Fu Wanting's frustration. It also gave her a strange feeling. It was clear that Fu Wanting liked Lin Yifei. Why don't you divorce him to marry Lin Yifei? But this is Fu Wanting's private matter. She couldn't interfere. She could only follow Fu Wanting's orders. That's right. President Fu, the Angel's Tear Ring that you won at the auction in Seattle before has arrived. Do you need to personally give it to Mr. Lin? The Angel's Tear Ring had a blue teardrop-shaped gemstone as the main stone. The ring was adorned with thousands of diamonds, sparkling under the light, so beautiful that it made people unable to look away. The moment she saw it, Fu Wanting felt it suited me very well and immediately bid for it, planning to give it to me as a third anniversary gift. Later, because of our argument, she completely forgot about this. She pursed her lips and said coolly, give it to me. I will give it to him myself. Keijing brought the Angel's Tear Ring. After bringing it to Fu Wanting's office, she left. Fu Wanting picked up a document but couldn't focus on it at all. Her mind was filled with the resolute expression on my face as I left last night. She irritably closed the document. This feeling of losing control made her feel a bit helpless. Just as she was about to stand up to get some fresh air, phone suddenly rang. A glint of anticipation flashed in Fu Wanting's eyes. After seeing the name flashing on the phone screen clearly, her expression immediately turned to disappointment. The call was from Lin Yifei. As soon as she answered, his smiling voice came through. Sister Wanting, it's almost my grandpa's birthday. My parents gave me the task of delivering the invitations. Are you free later? I happen to be passing by Lu Corporation, so I'll bring the invitation over for you and we can have lunch together, Fu Wanting said coolly. Okay. After hanging up the phone, the frustration in Fu Wanting's heart not only didn't lessen, but it even grew with a bit more anger. She couldn't focus on the documents in her hand. She didn't expect me to be so resolute this time, to be so heartless as to not contact her. A knock sounded on the office door. Keijing walked in with a document, her expression serious. President Fu, I just received news. The land in the east of the city seems to be starting its auction early. Fu Wanting's expression turned serious and she immediately said, go inform the person in charge of this project and the shareholders, meeting in 5 minutes. When Lin Yifei arrived, Fu Wanting was still in a meeting. Keijing was the one who received him. Mr. Fei, the president's meeting just started not long ago. She told me to take you to her office to wait for her. Lin Yifei smiled. Thank you. After showing Lin Yifei into Fu Wanting's office, Keijing said to call her if he needed anything, then left. After the door closed, Lin Yifei walked to Fu Wanting's desk. He was about to place the gold-plated invitation on the desk. When his gaze caught sight of a red brocade box on the side of the desk, his movements unconsciously stopped. This box was obviously for jewelry. Thinking that his own birthday was also approaching, could it be a birthday gift Fu Wanting prepared for him? After hesitating for a moment, Lin Yifei picked up the brocade box. It's something she bought for me anyway. It probably won't hurt to take a little peek, he thought as he opened the box. What came into view was the ring that Fu Wanting had bought at the auction in Seattle. At that time, he asked her who she was buying it for, but she didn't say anything. Now he knew that she wanted to give him a surprise. Lin Yifei's mood suddenly became very good. The corners of his lips curved up as he closed the box and put it back in its original place. It was an hour later when Fu Wanting returned from her meeting. Seeing Lin Yifei, a hint of apology flashed in her eyes. There was a sudden meeting just now. Lin Yifei smiled and stood up. I understand. I ordered food just now. It should be arriving soon. Right. I left the invitation on the table. Next Saturday is my grandpa's birthday. If you're free then, please come and attend. Fu Wanting frowned slightly. I have a business trip in a few days. I might not be back in time for Saturday, Lin Yifei asked. By the way, has my brother contacted you recently? Every time I call him, his line is busy. Do you know where he is now? At the mention of me. Fu Wanting frowned, and her voice turned a few shades colder. Why are you looking for him? Lin Yifei pursed his lips, his expression worried. You know, my brother's relationship with the family isn't very good. He was only taken back when he was 16. After that, he always felt that our parents favored me. He seemed a bit unhappy some time ago. It just so happens that next Saturday is Grandpa's birthday, so I want to call him back. To use Grandpa's birthday as an opportunity to reconcile his relationship with the family. After a few seconds of silence, Fu Wanting said with an icy expression, I'll tell him about this, seeing that Fu Wanting didn't seem to want to talk about it anymore. Lin Yifei also stopped mentioning it and changed the subject. Just after finishing the plan, I received a call from Lin Zhen. Next Saturday is your grandpa's birthday, you should come back. I pursed my lips, my clear voice ringing out. I recently found a job and might be very busy. I'm not sure if I'll have time. As soon as the words left my mouth, Lin Zhen's angry voice came through. What's more important than your grandpa's birthday? No matter what, you must be here next Saturday. It would be best to come with Fu Wanting. The Lin family is different now. A month ago, old Mr. Lin had instructed Lin Zhen that he must have Fu Wanting attend his birthday party. Only then could they intimidate others, so they wouldn't dare to scheme against the Lin family. I thought for a moment, the matter of me and Fu wanting to divorce really needed to be told to them directly, to avoid any trouble later. I know, they'll try to arrange my time to go then. Lin Zhen didn't say anything else and hung up directly. Shuru was a bit dissatisfied with his actions. She frowned and said, You already had Yifei go and give the invitation to Fu Wanting. Why did you mention this to Yichen again? To the son who wasn't by her side since childhood. Even though Lin Yifei and I were 7 or 8 parts alike, Shuru really couldn't bring herself to like me. Back then, after she gave birth to Lin Yifei and me, not long after her confinement, the Lin family had always been very superstitious, but suddenly one day, a feng shui master suddenly came to their house in person, saying that if I stayed in the Lin family, I would cause the family to be ruined. After much consideration, the Lin family finally decided to leave me at the gate of an orphanage. Who would have thought? When he was 16, Lin Yifei suddenly fell ill. The tests of everyone in the Lin family were unsuccessful. They had no choice but to find me and bring me back. Because we are twin brothers, my genes and Lin Yifei's naturally have a high degree of similarity. In the end, the test was successful, and I donated my bone marrow to Lin Yifei. They just kept me in the Lin family like that, but every time they saw me, everyone in the Lin family would still think of that feng shui master's words, and it was like a thorn in their hearts. Their attitude towards me was also very cold, especially Shuru. She felt that I was adopted by a rural family in a remote area, and thought I smelled of the countryside. Standing next to Lin Yifei, whom she had doted on for more than 10 years, just looking at me made her uncomfortable. Later, I always refused to listen to her. Every time Shuru spoke to me, she would get angry after less than 2 sentences. Our relationship got worse and worse. Now just mentioning my name, Shuru couldn't suppress her disgust. Lin Zhen glanced at her and said coldly, Don't you forget, right now Yichen is Fu Wanting's husband. Shuru scoffed disdainfully. If Yifei hadn't gone abroad back then, how would he have had the chance to marry Fu Wanting? Anyway, Yifei is back now, and Fu Wanting doesn't like him either. I think it's better to let them divorce early and marry Yifei. That would be good for everyone. Hearing this, Lin Zhen frowned and couldn't help but start thinking about this matter. Every time he called, he would hint at me, to whisper things to Fu Wanting, asking Fu Wanting to help the Lin family. I refused every time. This also made him very unhappy. We've been married to Fu Wanting for 3 years, and we still don't have children. If we really divorce and she marries Lin Yifei, it would only be beneficial for the Lin family, not harmful. But Lin Zhen was quite cautious after all, before he fully understood Fu Wanting's thoughts. He wouldn't act rashly. Let's talk about this later. I'm warning you, before I agree, don't you dare talk nonsense in front of Yichen, otherwise, if things blow up, I won't let you off. Shu Rao's face changed, then she said irritably, I know, we're getting a divorce sooner or later anyway, I can't be bothered to be the bad guy. After a moment of silence, Lin Zhen said softly, You should also be nicer to Yichen sometimes. After all, we owe him. A look of disgust flashed in Shuru's eyes, and she said coldly, If you want to be nice to him, you go be nice to him yourself. Don't drag me into it. I only acknowledge Yifei as my son. Don't you forget what the Feng Shui master said before? Lin Zhen coldly interrupted her, his eyes filled with anger. If I hear you mention this again, then don't blame me for turning hostile. Being yelled at by Lin Zhen, Shu Rao's face turned pale. She only came to her senses after Lin Zhen left in anger. She was a little scared, but at the same time, her hatred for me grew even stronger. If it weren't for him, there wouldn't be so much trouble now. In the evening, after work, I was about to leave, when Shen Hao rushed in. Brother Chen, any plans for tonight? I looked at him with an indifferent expression. Going home. Shen Hao grinned and raised an eyebrow at me. Going home is so boring. Tonight, to celebrate your return to Mai and your upcoming escape from the tomb of marriage, I've booked a table at Charm. I heard there's a new batch of female models recently. It'll take you to broaden your horizons. I looked at Shen Hao with a half smile. Are you taking me to broaden my horizons, or do you want to broaden your own horizons? After dinner, we went to the bar. As soon as we entered, a deafening sound rang in our ears. Shen Hao led me straight to the second floor. The second floor had private rooms with good privacy and also transparent glass rooms, which were convenient for watching the crowd dancing in the hall below. The disadvantage was that it wasn't very private. People outside could see what those inside were doing. We entered the transparent glass room, and the drinks and female models we ordered were quickly brought over. Looking at the 2 charming models in front of us, Shen Hao looked at me with a smug expression and said, Brother Chen, I didn't lie to you, did I? Which one do you like? After you choose, you'll take the remaining one. My indifferent gaze swept across the faces of the 2 girls, then I smiled at Shen Hao and said, How about I give you both? I think you seem to like them both. Shen Hao said, How can I do that? We have to share our fortunes. How about this? The one closer to you will serve you, and the one closer to me will serve me. The two models were also very tactful. As soon as Shen Hao finished speaking, they went and sat down next to Shen Hao and me. "Sir, what's your name?" "My name is Yue. Is there anything you need me to do?" The girl's amorous eyes looked at my face, unable to hide the excitement in her heart. She had never met such a handsome customer, and you could tell he was naturally handsome. Tonight, she really hit the jackpot. I glanced at her indifferently, my tone somewhat cold. "You don't need to do anything, just sit here quietly." Yue was stunned for a moment, a hint of surprise flashing in her eyes. But she had been professionally trained and quickly regained her composure, smiling and saying, "Then I'll sing a song for you two. I'm a pretty good singer." I nodded, and Yue quickly chose a song. A clear and melodious music filled the room. Across from me, Shen Hao and the other model were already feeding each other fruit. My face couldn't help but heat up at the sight, and I quickly turned my head away and listened intently to Yue's singing. When Yang Zixuan passed by my and Shen Hao's room, she casually glanced inside. Immediately after, a look of surprise flashed in her eyes about my secret marriage to Fu Wanting. Besides the Lin and Fu families, a few of Fu Wanting's close friends also knew about it. It's just that she never expected that the rule-abiding person Fu Wanting described me as would also come to a bar. She couldn't help but smirk. "This time there's a good show to watch." Averting her gaze, she quickly walked into a room next door. As soon as she pushed open the door, Tan Yi's laughing voice came from inside. "Zixuan, you're over half an hour late. Tonight's on you." In the room, besides Tan Yi and Qi Yunji, there was also Fu Wanting, drinking with a cold expression. Except for Fu Wanting, everyone else had a handsome, scantily clad man sitting beside them. Yang Zixuan closed the door, also blocking out the loud music from outside. She walked over and sat down next to them, glanced at Fu Wanting, and then spoke. "Do you guys know who I just saw outside?" Tan Yi asked curiously. "Who did you see? Stop being mysterious. You're so late. It's good enough that we're not making you drink 3 penalty shots. And you're still talking so slowly," Yang Zixuan said. "You guys definitely won't believe it if I tell you. I saw Wanting's husband." The moment her words fell, Fu Wanting's drinking motion paused. Her ice-cold gaze shot towards Yang Zixuan. "Are you sure?" Yang Zixuan nodded with a gloating expression. "He came with a friend, and each of them called for a female model. When I passed by, he was singing with the female model. Wanting, I think you're being cheated on." Before she could finish her sentence, Fu Wanting slammed her wine glass on the table, stood up, and quickly walked out. "Very good. Not only does he demand a divorce from me and block me, he even dares to go to a bar and find female models. His guts are getting bigger and bigger." Yang Zixuan looked at Fu Wanting's retreating back in confusion, and looked at Tan Yi and Qi Yunji beside her. Doesn't she like Lin Yifei? Why did she have such a big reaction when she heard Lin Yichin called for female models? Tan Yi was also bewildered. Even if she doesn't like Lin Yichin, the two of them are still husband and wife now. Her husband is openly cheating on her. If it were you, would you be able to accept it? Beside her, Qi Yunji's eyes flickered, and the hand resting on her side unconsciously tightened. She lifted the wine glass in front of her and downed it in one go. "That's right. Do you guys know who Lin Yichin's friend is this time? You'll definitely be surprised when I tell you." Tan Yi was a little interested. Shen Hao, hearing this, Tan Yi's expression became extremely ugly. She gritted her teeth and said, "Who did you say?" Yang Zixuan said. "That's Shen Hao, the one whose family went bankrupt a few years ago. We even attended parties together before. What's wrong?" Tan Yi gave a cold laugh. "Nothing. I was just asking." After speaking, she hugged the handsome guy next to her, took out her phone, snapped a selfie, and posted it on her Moments. A look of surprised delight flashed in the handsome guy's eyes. His amorous eyes looked at Tan Yi. Tan Yi looked at him with an icy expression. "Don't get the wrong idea. I just want to show it to someone." The handsome guy's face turned pale, knowing that he had been wishful thinking. Fu Wanting went out and glanced around a few times, and sure enough, she saw me in a transparent glass room. Seeing me feeding fruit to the woman beside me, my fingers almost touching her lips, the flame in Fu Wanting's heart immediately blazed even more fiercely. In the room, Shen Hao saw that I was still uninterested, so he suggested everyone play truth or dare. I lost, and Shen Hao made me feed fruit to the female model beside me. Just as I put the piece of fruit in my hand into the model's mouth, the door to the room was suddenly pushed open. A bone-chilling voice, filled with anger, came from the door. "Lin Yichin." The few people in the room turned to look, only to see Fu Wanting's icy gaze staring at me, her deep eyes now filled with rage. A look of surprise flashed in my eyes. I didn't expect to run into Fu Wanting here. After a moment, I indifferently withdrew my gaze, and calmly lifted the wine glass in front of me for a sip. Seeing me ignore her, Fu Wanting's face turned green with anger. She walked over to me in a few steps, grabbed my hand, and pulled me outside. Shen Hao's eyes turned cold, and he quickly blocked Fu Wanting's path, saying coldly, "CEO Fu, what are you doing? Brother Chen is my friend. If CEO Fu wants to take my friend away, shouldn't you give an explanation?" Fu Wanting's expression was cold. The patience in her eyes had run out. Seeing the two of them in a standoff, she knew that confronting Shen Hao would definitely be a disadvantage. I pursed my lips and said, "I'm fine. I'll be back in a bit." Shen Hao looked at me worriedly. "Brother Chen, don't worry. She won't do anything to me." As soon as the words left my mouth, Fu Wanting dragged me out. I stumbled and almost fell, which made Shen Hao unable to contain the anger in his heart again. Brother Chen is really blind. Otherwise, how could he have fallen for a woman like Fu Wanting? She doesn't have a single ladylike bone in her body, not until she pulled me to the end of the corridor. Did Fu Wanting let go of my hand, questioning in a cold voice? Lin Yichen, do you know you're a married man? Yesterday you were entangled with Xu Dao, and today you're already at a bar playing with female models. Are you trying to see how much I can be cheated on? I rubbed my wrist, which was sore from her grip, and said indifferently, if you keep dragging this out and not signing the divorce papers, it will get even worse in the future. Fu Wanting gave a cold laugh. If you dare to get involved with another woman again, I will definitely make you regret it. Hearing this, I smiled, looking at her indifferently. I'd also like to know how you plan to make me regret it. Threaten me with the Lin family? Don't forget that the Lin Yifei you love so much is also a member of the Lin family. If you do anything detrimental to the Lin family, he will definitely be sad. Are you willing to make him sad? Fu Wanting's expression changed, not because I mentioned Lin Yifei, but because she suddenly realized if I was really determined to leave, she really had nothing to keep me with. For a moment, a hint of panic flashed in Fu Wanting's heart, but very quickly, that trace of panic was covered by overwhelming anger. I already explained to you. Yifei and I didn't do anything to wrong you. A look of impatience flashed in my eyes, and I said coldly, Fu Wanting, you don't need to explain to me. I don't care at all about the stupid things you two do. I just want to know, when do you plan to get a divorce? Looking at my indifferent expression, the frustration in her heart surged. As soon as we meet, all he can talk about is divorce. She had already humbled herself to explain to me. Yet I didn't seem to care at all. The more Fu Wanting thought about it, the angrier she got. She grabbed my chin, leaned down and kissed me, wanting to shut my thin lips that annoyed her. I didn't expect Fu Wanting to do this. It wasn't until I felt the warmth on my lips. The next second, I forcefully pushed Fu Wanting away and slapped her across the face. The crisp sound of a slap echoed between the two of us, and the atmosphere instantly froze. Fu Wanting looked at me with an icy expression, and my disgusted action of wiping my mouth made her even more furious. Lin Yichen, how dare you wipe it again? I glanced at her coldly and said emotionlessly, if you were bitten by a dog like me, you'd probably be taking a shower by now. Fu Wanting only felt a surge of anger rush to her head. In the past, I always spoke gently, my tone never so sharp. She wasn't sure if I was really pushed to the edge or if I had always been this kind of person, just that I had hidden it too well before. I looked at the time. I no longer have the patience to entangle with Fu Wanting. I said coldly, I have to go to work tomorrow. If you have nothing else, I'll be leaving now. After speaking, I didn't look at Fu Wanting's expression and turned to leave. Stop! Fu Wanting walked in front of me and blocked my way. Since when did you have a job? What's it to you? Fu Wanting tried to suppress the anger in her heart and said through gritted teeth, don't forget we are husband and wife. I looked indifferent, not for much longer. Lin Yichen, my patience is limited. Seeing Fu Wanting's forbearing look, I found it a bit amusing. You can choose to divorce, then you won't have to endure it anymore. I said I won't agree to a divorce, then just endure it. Just as the atmosphere between me and Fu Wanting was freezing, a gentle voice sounded from the side, Wanting. Mr. Lin, why aren't you two in the room? I turned my head and saw clearly that the person standing not far away was Qi Yunji. The coldness on my face also lessened a bit. I curled my lips into a smile. You guys continue playing, I won't disturb you anymore. In front of Qi Yunji, Fu Wanting didn't block me anymore. It was only after my figure had disappeared into the distance that she looked at Qi Yunji coldly. Why did you come out? I went to the restroom and saw you and Mr. Lin arguing. I was afraid you two would fight. After 2 seconds of silence, Qi Yunji continued to speak. Wanting, actually Mr. Lin is very nice. The 2 years your leg was injured, he was always by your side taking care of you. Even if you don't like him, you should at least treat him a little better. Fu Wanting's gaze gradually turned cold. I know what to do. I have something to do tonight. I won't be going back in. Help me tell Zixuan and Jingi, just put it on my tab. After Fu Wanting left, Qi Yunji stood there for a while, smoked a cigarette, and then returned to the room. After Fu Wanting's scene, Shen Hao and I were no longer in the mood to stay. After paying the bill, we left the bar early. After calling a designated driver for Shen Hao, I stood by the roadside to hail a cab. While waiting for the car, I lowered my head and thought, I'll start driving to work tomorrow. Suddenly, a black Maybach stopped right next to me. I didn't look closely and thought it was the car I had called, so I opened the door and got in. It wasn't until I smelled the familiar woody scent that I turned my head in surprise. Seeing the woman sitting next to me, I frowned and turned to push open the door to get out. The lighting wasn't good just now, so when I got in, I didn't notice there was someone in the back seat. Fu Wanting grabbed my wrist and said coldly, to Sheng Jing. The driver started the car. I looked at Fu Wanting coldly. Can you let go of your hand now? At this moment, my heart was full of frustration. If I hadn't been lost in thought just now, I wouldn't have made such a basic mistake. Uncle Wang locked the car doors with a click. Fu Wanting also let go of my hand. I looked at her coldly, trying to speak in a calm tone. Fu Wanting, I really have to go to work tomorrow. I don't have time to go crazy with you. Fu Wanting frowned and said coldly, I just drank. Come home and take care of me tonight. A flash of impatience appeared in my eyes. You can call Lin Yifei. He would probably love to personally take care of you. I deliberately emphasized the two words, take care. I don't believe Fu Wanting didn't understand my meaning. Fu Wanting gave a cold laugh. You're quite generous now, aren't you? Who is my husband, Lin Yifei or you? I said indifferently. The things a husband should do and shouldn't do, he has already done them all. You two are just missing a marriage certificate. Fu Wanting stared at my face, wanting to find some trace of sadness on my face, but there was none. I really didn't care anymore. For some reason, a pang of pain rose in Fu Wanting's heart. She turned her face away and said coldly, as long as we're not divorced, you have an obligation to take care of me. I felt a bit annoyed and couldn't be bothered to deal with Fu Wanting. I took out my phone, removed Lin Yifei from the blacklist, and sent him a message. Lin Yifei had already showered and was about to go to bed. After receiving my message, his face immediately turned pale. Lin Yichen, you despicable person. Lin Yifei quickly got up, changed his clothes, and went downstairs. He happened to run into Father Lin and Mother Lin returning from a party. Seeing him about to go out, they both couldn't help but frown. Yifei, where are you going so late at night? Lin Yifei forced a smile and said to Mother Lin, Mom, Sister Wanting is drunk and is at home alone right now. I'm worried about her, so I'm going over to check. Mother Lin glanced at Father Lin, seeing no expression on his face. She then smiled and said to Lin Yifei, it's so late now, it's not safe to drive yourself. You'll have Uncle Chen drive you. That's fine. After Lin Yifei left, Mother Lin said thoughtfully, it seems Fu Wanting still has feelings for Yifei. Otherwise, she wouldn't even report the matter of drinking and let Yifei know. Father Lin nodded. Tell Lin Yifei to seize the opportunity. It just so happens that Fu Wanqing and Lin Yichen's marriage isn't widely known. It won't affect finding him another match later on. For the Lin family, it doesn't matter if it's me or Lin Yifei who marries Fu Wanqing. As long as it can bring benefits to his company, it's fine. As for after Fu Wanqing and I divorce, he will find me another person, a wife who can bring benefits to the Lin family. Arriving at the villa and seeing the lights on inside, Fu Wanqing couldn't help but frown. Besides her and me, basically no one else would come to this villa. And it's so late. Did you come back today? I said calmly with a composed expression. You'll know once you open the door. Fu Wanqing entered the password, and as soon as she opened the door, she saw a tall figure. Her gaze involuntarily turned cold. Lin Yichen, what is the meaning of this? Lin Yifei had just finished making the hangover soup and placed it on the table when he heard Fu Wanqing's voice from the doorway. Outside the door, Fu Wanqing looked at me with an angry expression. Her heart sank. She never expected I would go this far, calling Lin Yifei to our home. My face was indifferent as I said tonelessly, didn't you say you were drunk? So I helped you call. The person you long for day and night to take care of you. You should be thanking me. Say that again. Seeing Fu Wanqing's incredulous expression, I was in no mood to deal with her anymore and said coldly, I've already called the person for you. I won't stay here and disturb the two of you. After you've signed the divorce agreement, just send it to me by express mail. I turned and left decisively, without any lingering attachment. Fu Wanqing was furious and about to chase after me when her arm was suddenly pulled back. Sister Wanqing, you've made hangover soup for you. Come in and have some. Looking at Lin Yifei's cautious expression, Fu Wanqing frowned and pulled her hand back, saying, Yifei, you should go home first. Lin Yifei shook his head. Sister Wanqing, I'm not going anywhere. I'll stay here with you. My brother messaged me saying you were drunk. I don't feel at ease leaving you here alone. Fu Wanqing's expression stiffened, her voice dropping a few notches. Was it Yichen who told you the villa's password? Yes. Seeing Fu Wanqing's face darken, Lin Yifei quickly said, if you don't like me coming, I won't come again next time. Don't be angry. Fu Wanqing closed her eyes and said in a low voice, Yifei, I want to be alone for a while. I'll stay by your side quietly and won't disturb you. I'll have Uncle Wang take you home, Sister Wanqing. Be good. Lin Yifei bit his lower lip and reluctantly nodded. All right then. Then if you feel unwell anywhere, you must call me, okay? After Lin Yifei left, Fu Wanqing closed the door and entered the living room. Seeing the divorce agreement still on the table, a cold glint flashed in her eyes. She strode to the table, picked up the divorce agreement and tore it apart, throwing it into the trash. Want a divorce? Dream on. The next evening, I'd just gotten off work and returned to the door of the villa in North City when I was blocked by Fu Wanqing. She looked at me coldly. Lin Yichen, there should be a limit to your troublemaking. Staying at another woman's house every day? Where does that leave the reputation of the Lin and Fu families? I let out a cold laugh. Do you have the nerve to say that to me? When you and Lin Yifei were having a private date in our marital home, did you think about the reputation of the Lin and Fu families? Fu Wanqing's eyes were full of impatience. I've told you before, nothing has ever happened between Yifei and me, no substantive relationship whatsoever. Whether it happened or not has nothing to do with me. We're getting divorced soon anyway. I've already torn up the divorce agreement. Let's just say you were speaking nonsense in a moment of anger. Come back with me now, and I can pretend nothing happened. I frowned. Fu Wanqing, why do you keep refusing to divorce? Have you fallen in love with me? Hearing this, Fu Wanqing's face turned icy cold, and she looked at me with a mocking expression. Do you think that's possible? If it's not possible, then don't hold me back. While I'm still young, if we divorce early, I can still find someone new. Seeing my somewhat impatient expression, Fu Wanqing was enveloped in coldness, her brows knitted together involuntarily. You still want to find someone else? I looked at her with an indifferent expression. Staying with you is no different from being single. I have to find my own happiness. An inexplicable fire rose in Fu Wanqing's heart, one she couldn't suppress. She knew clearly in her heart that she didn't love me, yet she was still easily angered by me. Her face darkened, each word seemingly squeezed from between her teeth. Fine, if you want to divorce me, you have to compensate me for the loss of my youth these past few years. Seeing my, "Are you crazy?" expression, Fu Wanqing said coldly, 50 million. If you can compensate me, I will agree to the divorce. I was silent for a few seconds, looking at Fu Wanqing with a serious expression. Are you sure that if I give you 50 million, you'll divorce me? But you can't use the money I gave you. For the past few years, I've lived and eaten at the Fu family's house. When we got married, she once gave me an unlimited black card, but I never used it. For birthdays, the gifts I gave were all handmade. So Fu Wanqing thought that I definitely couldn't get that much money. I was silent for a few seconds and then nodded. Fine, I agree to your terms. It'll only give you 1 week. If you can't give me 50 million within a week, then don't mention divorce again. I frowned. Fu Wanqing, isn't this condition a bit too unreasonable? Fu Wanqing laughed coldly. You're the one making a fuss about divorce. Now that I am giving you this chance, you're not happy. Lin Yichen, I'm starting to suspect that you're just playing hard to get. I rolled my eyes and said coldly, a week is a week. Now can you get lost? Seeing the impatience in my eyes, Fu Wanqing continued, before we divorce, you have to move back in. Fu Wanqing, you don't push it. Fu Wanqing let out a cold laugh. You call this pushing it? I haven't even made you fulfill your husbandly duties to me. I gritted my teeth. In your dreams, come back with me, or I'll stay here with you. You choose. I took a deep breath. Thinking it was just for a week, I could endure it for a little while. I turned and walked straight towards the Maybach by the road. Fu Wanqing called out to me. Aren't you going to pack your things? My expression was indifferent. You'll be back in a week, no need to pack. Fu Wanqing's face darkened, and she got into the car with a cold expression. She didn't speak to me either, just picked up her documents and continued reading. I sat beside her, casually glancing at the documents in her hand. My expression suddenly changed. Are you planning to acquire my? Fu Wanqing frowned, her icy eyes looking at me. Weren't you previously uninterested in my company's affairs? A hint of mockery flashed in my eyes. You say that as if you would tell me if I were interested. Thinking about how I said I wanted to get a job last night, Fu Wanqing looked at me and said, have you joined my? That's why I advise you to quickly give up your plan to acquire my. You won't succeed. Fu Wanqing's expression was indifferent as she spoke. As long as you pay enough money, nothing is impossible. Then you can go ahead and try. No matter how much money she pays, I can't sell my myself. Fu Wanqing felt that my attitude was a bit off, but she didn't think too deeply about it. It was probably because I had just joined my that I didn't want the company to go bankrupt. What's your job at my? Currently, I'm a janitor. Seeing her disbelieving expression, I said casually, if you don't believe me, then don't. Cleaning up the useless pests in the company, isn't that what a janitor does? After a few seconds of silence, Fu Wanqing suddenly spoke up. The HR at my should get their glasses checked. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given this job to you. I let out a cold laugh. A dog's eyes always look down on people. When you can't do something yourself, you assume others can't either. Fu Wanqing raised an eyebrow. If I'm a dog and you're my husband, then what are you? I turned my head away, clearly not wanting to pay attention to Fu Wanqing anymore. Looking at my angry appearance, Fu Wanqing somehow found it a bit cute and handsome. Her voice also softened a few degrees unconsciously. Next Saturday is your grandfather's birthday. I'll go with you then. I thought for a moment and nodded. It's a good time to inform them about our divorce. A glint flashed in Fu Wanqing's eyes, a cold glint, and she looked at me with an icy expression. Are you going to celebrate Grandpa's birthday or to piss him off? I looked at her with a confused expression and frowned. Sooner or later, we have to tell them anyway. Dragging it out is meaningless. Fu Wanqing let out a cold laugh. You should get the 50 million first before you talk. Her voice carried a hint of mockery, clearly not believing I could earn 50 million. I lowered my eyes and said nothing more. An hour later, the car stopped in front of the villa. I went to the door and entered the password, but it showed an incorrect password. I frowned and turned to look at Fu Wanqing a few steps away. Frowning, I said, Did you change the password? I changed it to your birthday. My eyes flashed as I looked at her with a mocking expression. Is it really my birthday or Lin Yifei's birthday? You know that in your heart. I turned back and entered the password again, pushing the door open and stepping inside. Fu Wanqing frowned, looking at my back. A hint of panic flashed in her eyes. When she changed the password, she really was thinking of changing it to my birthday. She hadn't thought at all about the fact that I and Lin Yifei were born on the same day. I walked to the sofa and sat down. From the corner of my eye, I saw the divorce agreement that Fu Wanqing had torn up and thrown in the trash. My gaze paused and then immediately looked away as if nothing had happened. Fu Wanqing walked over and stood opposite me, her face having returned to its previous cold expression. "What's for dinner?" I waved my phone. "I'm ordering takeout. You do whatever you want." As soon as the words left my mouth, Fu Wanqing couldn't help but frown. "Takeout isn't nutritious. I didn't ask you to eat it. My point is, you can't eat it either." I was looking down, scrolling through the food delivery app when I heard that. I paused and looked up at Fu Wanqing, dissatisfied. "If I don't eat takeout, what do I eat? Air? Cook yourself." I was silent for a moment, then said casually, "I don't have time. If you want to eat, cook it yourself." Fu Wanqing said nothing. She stood up and walked towards the refrigerator. Seeing this, a flicker of surprise crossed my eyes. I had only said it casually. I didn't expect Fu Wanqing to actually go and do it. I quickly regained my emotionless expression. I directly ordered the fried chicken I had selected, then went upstairs to shower. I didn't go into the master bedroom, but to the guest room next door. The guest room also had its own toilet and bathroom. After my shower, I went downstairs and waited for a while, but the fried chicken still hadn't arrived. I checked the delivery app. It said the delivery was successful. I called the delivery person and learned that the food had been delivered 20 minutes ago. I frowned, stood up, and looked around, finally finding my fried chicken in the trash can. I hung up the phone and stormed towards the kitchen, fuming. Just as I reached the kitchen door, Fu Wanqing came out carrying a bowl of soup. The two of us collided. The bowl of soup in Fu Wanqing's hand spilled. Seeing the hot soup about to spill on me, Fu Wanqing quickly pushed me away. The hot soup spilled onto the back of her hand instead. The scalded skin quickly turned red and immediately blistered. I was stunned for a moment, then frowned and said, "I'll go get the first aid kit to treat you." After treating the wound, I was about to put the first aid kit away when I saw Fu Wanqing staring at me intently. I couldn't help but frown, my tone a bit cold. "I'm sorry about what just happened, but if you hadn't thrown away my food, this wouldn't have happened." Fu Wanqing was silent for a few seconds, then spoke. "I just didn't want you to eat junk food. I wanted you to eat with me." My expression was indifferent. "There's no need. You'll just order another portion. We're getting divorced in a week. It's better if we keep our distance this week." Fu Wanqing frowned, staring into my eyes as she spoke. "Do you have to get a divorce?" I looked at her calmly and said in a firm tone, "Yes, Lin Yichen, I feel like we could." I coldly cut Fu Wanqing off, saying word by word, "You don't need to say anything. I won't regret what I've decided. In 1 week, I will give you 50 million. I hope you can keep your word." After speaking, without looking at how awful Fu Wanqing's expression was, I turned and left directly. Back upstairs, I didn't order takeout again to avoid running into Fu Wanqing if I went downstairs again. I opened my phone and found a website I hadn't opened in 3 years. I entered my account and password to log in. As soon as I logged in, a yellow circle appeared on the screen, with a line of English text below it. It translated to "Welcome back, full moon." My face was icy as I directly browsed the mission interface. To earn 50 million in 1 week, I can only accept missions on here. Suddenly, a chat box appeared on the left. The sender's name was Tuju. The profile picture was all black. "Are you Yuan Wei? Looks like it's really you. You haven't shown up in 3 years. I thought you died on some mission. Just now I saw your avatar light up. It felt like a corpse coming back to life." Tuju was a teammate I used to do missions with often, but every time we met, we were in disguise, so no one knew the other's real-life identity. "Something came up these past 3 years. You're back online to take on missions again?" Tuju: "It just so happens I recently took on a mission that needs a partner. The commission is 50 million. After we succeed, we'll split it 50-50. Interested in doing it together, Yuan Wei? Send me the time and mission details to look at." Very quickly, Tuju sent over an encrypted file. I skillfully decrypted it, and after reading it, I replied to Tuju with a single word. "Okay." Tuju didn't say much either, and quickly went offline. After browsing a bit more, I accepted another mission, with a 30 million commission. Then I also went offline. Completing these 2 missions should get me 50 million. The large rock in my heart was finally lifted. After thinking and arranging my schedule, I went to sleep. Early the next morning, I was woken up by the doorbell. I originally intended to ignore it, but the doorbell kept ringing incessantly, dispelling the last bit of my sleepiness. I checked the time, 6:05 a.m. It seemed like the other person really had something urgent. I went downstairs and opened the door. Seeing Lin Yifei outside, I couldn't help but frown. When Lin Yifei saw me, he also looked surprised, his face turning pale. Why are you here?" I looked at him with an indifferent expression. "You don't seem to have the right to ask me that question." After saying that, I turned to go upstairs. Lin Yifei's cold voice came from behind me. "Stop." The corner of my mouth lifted into a cold smile. I turned my head, looking at Lin Yifei with a mocking expression. "To be so arrogant as a third party, you're the first one I've ever seen." Lin Yifei's expression changed as he stared at me and said, "The one Sister Wanqing loves is me. Even if you use tricks to stay here, she could never love you. If you know what's good for you, divorce her quickly. It's best if you get lost far away and never appear in front of her again." I raised an eyebrow, nodding. "Fine. Give me 50 million and I'll divorce her immediately." Lin Yifei's pupils contracted. He gritted his teeth and said, "Over the years, hasn't Sister Wanqing given you enough money, Lin Yichen? Don't be so greedy. You're the one who's anxious for me to divorce Fu Wanqing. If you don't pay a little price, how can you prove your feelings for her? A mocking look appeared in my eyes. It seems your love for Fu Wanqing isn't worth much after all. You're not even willing to part with 50 million. Lin Yifei was about to speak when the corner of his eye caught a figure appearing on the stairs. His expression immediately became pitiful. Brother, it's not that I don't want to give you this 50 million. It's just that if I give it to you, Sister Wanqing will definitely be angry if she finds out. Why let her know? Just don't say anything. Just as the two were at a standoff, a cold voice sounded from the top of the stairs. Lin Yichen. I thought you had some great ability to earn that 50 million. Turns out you wanted to make Lin Yifei the fool who takes the loss. I calmly faced Fu Wanqing's icy eyes and began to speak. I thought Lin Yifei would be very happy to spend this 50 million, so I gave him a chance. Seeing the two of them completely ignoring him, Lin Yifei unconsciously wrung the hem of his shirt, a dark glint flashing in his eyes. Sister Wanqing, what did you tell my brother about 50 million? If my brother really needs money, I can lend it to him first. I gave Lin Yifei a meaningful look, about to speak, when Fu Wanqing said coldly, This has nothing to do with you. If he comes looking for money from you again, just refuse him outright. The 50 million that was almost in my hands just flew away. I clicked my tongue. I didn't want to waste any more words on the two of them. I went upstairs, planning to get some more sleep. As I walked past Fu Wanqing, she suddenly grabbed my wrist. She leaned close to my ear and whispered a warning. If I see you asking Lin Yifei for money one more time, then even if you get the 50 million, I won't divorce you. Downstairs, Lin Yifei saw the intimate actions of the two, his eyes red with anger. I shook her hand off and took a step back, saying coldly, Got it. If you have something to say in the future, just say it. Don't get so close to me. I have a fear of strangers. Fu Wanqing narrowed her eyes, a dangerous glint flashing within them. Lin Yichen, don't provoke me. I didn't even look at her, turned, went straight into the bedroom and locked the door from the inside. Fu Wanqing stared at the guest bedroom door, her eyes filled with anger. Sister Wanqing! Lin Yifei's voice pulled Fu Wanqing back to reality. She turned and quickly went downstairs, frowning at Lin Yifei. What are you doing here so early? Realizing Fu Wanqing's voice was a bit unhappy, Lin Yifei bit his lower lip. I was worried about you, so I came to check. I didn't expect my brother to be here too. If I had known he was back, I wouldn't have come. Fu Wanqing frowned involuntarily. Yifei, Lin Yichen is my husband. Lin Yifei's eyes immediately turned red. But we clearly like each other, and you and my brother have no feelings for each other. Why must you hold on to a loveless marriage? Fu Wanqing was silent for a moment, then looked at Lin Yifei and said slowly, What we had is in the past. Even if I don't like him, he is still my husband. That point will not change. Lin Yifei's tears fell, his eyes filled with disbelief. Is it just because that year, when you had the car accident, he took the opportunity to take care of you for 2 years, that you fell in love with him? I don't love him, but I won't divorce him either. Why? After the car accident, I couldn't stand for those 2 years, and he was the one who was always by my side taking care of me. Besides, just the thought of divorcing me, an indescribable frustration welled up in Fu Wanqing's heart. Lin Yifei choked out, You can't be ungrateful. But what about me? You hid the fact that you were in a car accident from me. By the time I found out, you had already married my brother. Do you know how I felt then? I wanted to come and confront you, but I felt there was no point anymore. If you want to thank my brother, you can absolutely use other ways. Why must you gamble your entire life on it? Fu Wanqing's expression was a bit detached as she looked at Lin Yifei and said, I was indeed wrong to you in this matter. Therefore, after you returned to the country, you said you wanted to stay at that villa, and I agreed. You said you wanted Company 1, and I am also in the process of acquiring it, but the only thing I cannot give you is my affection. After speaking, regardless of Lin Yifei's reaction, Fu Wanqing walked straight away. Lin Yifei, with red eyes, stared at her retreating back, his heart filled with unwillingness. He would not give up like this. When I went downstairs again, both Fu Wanqing and Lin Yifei were gone. I paid it no mind and went straight to the company. As soon as I arrived at the office, I called Shen Hao over. Starting tomorrow, he'll be away for a few days. You handle the company matters for now. If there's anything you really can't solve, wait for me to come back. I know. Seeing that Shen Hao hadn't left yet, I looked up at him. Is there anything else? Probably in the meeting later, Yang Dexiang will make things difficult for you. Yesterday, after the employees in his department were fired, I heard he threw a huge tantrum in his office. I nodded. You can go back to work first. After Shen Hao left, I lowered my head and continued to read the documents, clearly not paying any mind to the matter. 10 a.m., the meeting started on time. I emphasized the recent work plan and the key points. With a nonchalant expression, I scanned the people below. If there's nothing else, that's all for today. Meeting adjourned. As soon as I finished, Yang Dexiang spoke up. CEO Lin, I have something to say. I looked at him calmly. What is it? Yang Dexiang smiled. CEO Lin, recently our company has a business deal that we can't seem to negotiate. If CEO Lin can step in, this deal can definitely succeed. Besides, CEO Lin has been away from Mai for 3 years. We would also like to see CEO Lin's capabilities. After all, such a large company can't be entrusted to someone without management skills. The corner of my mouth lifted in a faint smile as I nodded. All right, then bring the contract to my office later. Yang Dexiang didn't expect me to agree so readily. He was stunned for a moment before speaking. Then I hope CEO Lin can sign this contract soon. After the meeting ended, Shen Hao followed me into the office. Brother Chen, I told you to be careful of Yang Dexiang. Why did you fall into his trap? Seeing Shen Hao's agitated expression, I said indifferently, even if I avoid it this time, he'll still find another opportunity to harm me next time. It's better to teach him a lesson he'll never forget this time. The client he assigned to you must be very difficult. What if you suffer a loss? Don't worry. Go back to work. I still can't rest assured. When you go to negotiate, he'll go with you. No need. If I can't even handle this small matter myself, what will happen when we face bigger difficulties later? Want the company be ruined? Seeing my determination, Shen Hao had to take a step back. Okay, but if there's an emergency, you must call me. Don't shoulder it alone. Got it. Not long after Shen Hao left, Yang Dexiang brought the contract that needed to be negotiated. His eyes were full of smugness. CEO Lin, I'll be waiting for you to come back after signing it. If CEO Yang has no other business, you may leave now. I still have a lot of work to do. Anger flashed in Yang Dexiang's eyes, then he sneered and turned to leave. He was waiting to see me make a fool of myself. I looked through the documents, and after scheduling a meeting with the other party for the evening, I started busying myself with other work. Soon, it was time to get off work. I thought about the documents and went straight to the appointed restaurant. I had just stepped into the private room when the person sitting inside quickly stood up and said cheerfully, Mr. Lin, please have a seat. Bai Xianglei didn't expect me to be so handsome. Looking at me made her itch with desire. She just wanted to pounce immediately. This time, Yang Dexiang really sent me a handsome man. I sat down on a chair 2 seats away from Bai Xianglei and said with a smile, Hello, CEO Bai. Because she was dissatisfied with me sitting so far away from her, Bai Xianglei stood up and came to sit next to me. Her flirtatious eyes stared intently at my abs. Mr. Lin, there's no need to be so distant. Although we've never met before, we're strangers once, but familiar the second time. Mr. Lin, you can just call me Sister Lei. Bai Xianglei was over 50, even older than Lin Zhen, yet she had the gall to tell me to call her sister. As she spoke, she unconsciously reached out to touch my abs. The next second, a shrill scream rang out. Let go of me. It hurts, it hurts. I calmly let her go. Sorry, CEO Bai. I don't like other people touching me. Although it was an apology, there was no trace of remorse in my eyes. Bai Xianglei was annoyed, and her eyes darted around. Then she suddenly smiled again. She picked up the bottle of aged red wine on the table and poured me a glass. How about this, Mr. Lin? Finish this glass of wine, and I won't hold what just happened against you. How about it? I raised an eyebrow, the corner of my mouth lifting into a smile. CEO Bai, what's so interesting about drinking red wine? Let me call the waiter to bring a few bottles of white wine. Seeing me stand up as if to leave, the smile on Bai Xianglei's face turned cold. Mr. Lin, if you're going to be so insincere, I don't think there's any need for us to continue our discussion. She slammed the glass of red wine on the table, making a loud thud, her expression gloomy. I also realized that Bai Xianglei basically wanted to use the contract to take advantage of me. I said indifferently, fine. Then CEO Bai, please enjoy your meal. We'll be leaving now. Bai Xianglei originally intended to scare me a little. I didn't expect the other party to go with the flow, turning around to leave. She stood stunned for a few seconds before chasing after me. Stop! Her voice wasn't quiet. It immediately attracted the attention of the people around. Through the carved wooden partition, several people on the other side could see clearly, me and Bai Xianglei opposite them. Yang Zixuan and the others came here for dinner tonight, and they didn't expect to see me here. Moreover, they all knew that Bai Xianglei, she started her business in the textile industry. She seized an opportunity a few years ago and became a boss. She started acting arrogantly, a typical nouveau riche. People with some status all looked down on her. Seeing Fu Wanting's unpleasant expression, Yang Zixuan couldn't help but whisper, Wanting. Why did Yichen get involved with Bai Xianglei? Bai Xianglei likes to play around with young men. If she gets her hands on you, you'll end up either dead or crippled. Her reputation is terrible. Although she felt I wasn't worthy of Fu Wanting, she also didn't want me to be ruined by Bai Xianglei. Fu Wanting's face darkened, her eyes fixed on me. I didn't know what she was thinking. I didn't pay attention to the people next to us. I turned back to look at Bai Xianglei and said indifferently, Is there anything else, CEO Bai? Bai Xianglei sneered. Lin Yichen, you're just a public relations employee of what's with the innocent act in front of me. Even if I did you right here, nothing would happen. Before I lose my patience, obediently come back with me. If you please me in bed, maybe you'll sign the contract. I raised an eyebrow. Is that what Yang Dexiang told you? Bai Xianglei's eyes were full of contempt and ridicule. What's the difference whether he said it or not? You dressing like that, isn't your purpose to seduce me? Today I was wearing a white shirt with a vest over it. My hair was short and neat. My whole appearance was handsome without losing my composure. I looked down at my outfit, not understanding how dressing like this was supposed to be seducing her. CEO Bai, I'm not interested in you. I hope you can have some self-respect. After saying that, I turned to leave. Bai Xianglei sneered again. Coming and going as you please isn't that simple. Just as she finished speaking, 2 burly men suddenly appeared around me, at least 2 meters tall, looking down on me with an oppressive feeling. I smirked, but my eyes held a deep chill. CEO Bai, are you planning to use force? Yang Zixuan, behind the partition, couldn't help but frown and whisper, Wanting, if you don't go and stop this, Yichen will be taken away by Bai Shanglei. In her eyes, a scholarly boy like me would surely be at a disadvantage. Fu Wanting's eyes were cold. Wait a little longer. What are you waiting for? Fu Wanting said nothing more, but her dark eyes stared intently at me. The founder of Mai just returned not long ago. It just so happens that the place I work at is Mai. Could there really be such a coincidence? Bai Shanglei looked at me coldly, her eyes filled with anger. Take him to my private room. We'll see how I deal with you later. After speaking, Bai Shanglei turned and went into the private room, already planning how she would torture me later. However, she had only taken 2 steps when 2 miserable screams sounded from behind her. Before Bai Shanglei could turn her head, she was kicked in the butt. Her whole body flew out and slammed hard against the wall. Bai Shanglei screamed, her body falling from the wall to the ground. There wasn't a single spot on her body that didn't hurt. Yang Zixuan behind the partition was also astonished. She subconsciously looked towards Fu Wanting. Is Yichen that good at fighting? Just now, she couldn't even see clearly how I had moved. Those 2 big guys had already fallen to the ground. Moreover, 1 kick could send an adult flying. Is this something a normal person can do? Fu Wanting said nothing, but the look in her eyes as she watched me deepened. Perhaps she had never understood me. On the other side, I slowly walked towards Bai Shanglei, a cold smile playing on my lips. Bai Shanglei had no other thoughts in her mind at this moment. She only felt that I was truly a demon. Don't come over here, or I'll call the police. Seeing the panic in Bai Xianglei's eyes, there was no emotion in my eyes. Walking up to Bai Shanglei, I placed a foot on her chest. Bai Shanglei felt a sharp pain in her chest and spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. You said you wanted to kill me just now. Bai Shanglei hurriedly shook her head. I didn't. I was just kidding. Mr. Lin, you are a magnanimous person. Please don't hold it against me. As she spoke, Bai Shanglei began to slap her own face. I looked at her coldly, my eyes unwavering. Until Bai Xianglei's face was slapped red, I calmly withdrew my foot and turned to leave. Bai Shanglei's frightened eyes immediately turned vicious. She stared intently at my back. She has remembered today's grudge. She definitely won't let me go. Seeing me leave, Fu Wanting also turned and went upstairs. Her expression was indifferent, but doubts about me had arisen in her heart. Perhaps I should have Kejing investigate him. Before, her understanding of me was only that I was the Lin family's son who had been lost for 16 years, Lin Yifei's twin brother. In our 3 years of marriage, I had also taken care of her wholeheartedly, no different from an ordinary man. But today had truly been an eye-opener for her. Yang Zixuan beside her was also very shocked. She turned to look at Fu Wanting and said, Wanting, Yichen just beat up Bai Shanglei, and Bai Shanglei is a vengeful person. She will definitely come looking for trouble with Yichen. Aren't you going to do something about it? Fu Wanting's expression was indifferent. He didn't ask for my help. Why should I meddle? But he's your husband. Hearing this, Fu Wanting's expression seemed to turn even colder. Maybe in a while he won't be. A look of surprise flashed in Yang Zixuan's eyes. Are you planning to divorce Yichen and get back with Lin Yifei? Fu Wanting didn't say anything, so Yang Zixuan took it as a silent admission and spoke. The person you liked was always Lin Yifei. A divorce would be good for both you and Mr. Lin. Lin Yichen was the one who suggested the divorce. This time, Yang Zixuan was truly shocked. After all, in 3 years of marriage, my love for Fu Wanting was clear for all of them to see. I loved Fu Wanting so much, would I really be the one to suggest divorce? Are you sure? If he's the one who proposed the divorce, what are you hesitating for? Could it be that he's demanding too much for a settlement? Fu Wanting grew more and more irritated by Yang Zixuan's words. She gave her a cold glare. You have too much free time. Is that business with the little celebrity settled yet? The 2 of them entered the private room. Tan Yi and Qi Yunji were already waiting inside. Seeing Fu Wanting's gloomy expression, Tan Yi couldn't help but say, Wanting, why the long face? Fu Wanting said nothing. Yang Zixuan behind her said with a strange expression, Someone is unhappy because they were asked for a divorce. Don't ask anymore. We should be happy when we're eating. Let's not think about things that make us unhappy. Regarding my marriage with Fu Wanting, none of them were optimistic. Especially now that Lin Yifei had returned to the country, their marriage was even more precarious. No one noticed that the person who had been keeping her head down without saying anything, Qi Yunji, was clenching, her hand around her water glass. After they finished eating, Tan Yi and Yang Zixuan suggested going to Huangting for drinks. You guys go ahead. I have something to do tonight. After Fu Wanting left, Qi Yunji also said she had to go home for something. Tan Yi looked at Yang Zixuan. They're all busy, so let's just the 2 of us go. We can just find any bar for a drink. Yang Zixuan smiled and shook her head. I have a date with my boyfriend. You go by yourself. After a few seconds of silence, she looked at Yang Zixuan and said, You really move on seamlessly. This new boyfriend isn't another pretty boy, is he? Has not? He'll bring him to meet you guys next time. Oh, are you serious this time? I've always been serious about my relationships. Tan Yi rolled her eyes. All right, you go ahead. I'm going home too. It was past 9 p.m. when Fu Wanting returned to the villa. As soon as she entered the villa, she saw me with a bag, about to leave. I had changed into a tracksuit, my hair short and neat. I looked both capable and handsome. It's so late. Where are you going? I also didn't expect Fu wanting to come back at this time. After a moment of surprise, I said with a calm expression, I have some business to attend to. I probably won't be back for the next few days. Fu Wanting immediately grabbed my hand. Her face was as cold as ice as she stared at me. Lin Yichen, don't forget you're a married man. It's this late, you can't go out no matter what. I impatiently shook her hand off. What's it to you? Didn't you used to be away for 10 days to half a month at a time? I agreed not to come back to the villa. That doesn't mean you can interfere in my private life. I looked down at my watch. It was almost time for my meeting with Tujiu. If you don't clearly explain what you're going out to do, I won't let you take a single step out of this villa today. I stared firmly at her, not giving an inch. Move. Fu Wanting said nothing, her dark eyes looking at me coldly. Today, she saw my skills. Although I am very formidable, but in terms of martial arts, she probably wouldn't lose to me. If I made a move, she would have an excuse to question me about when I learned martial arts. I looked at her with a blank expression. Fu Wanting was about to speak when a small sound suddenly rang in her ear. She frowned in confusion, and I suddenly started counting down. Fu Wanting also lost consciousness. I dragged Fu Wanting to the sofa. I turned and left without looking back. When she woke up again, it was the next morning. Fu Wanting rubbed her temples. She suddenly remembered something. Her sharp eyes flew open. She scanned the room, but there was no sign of me. Her brows furrowed involuntarily. She immediately called Keijing. Go investigate where Lin Yichen is right now, immediately. At this moment, in a tropical rainforest, a team of people was rapidly advancing, deeper into the forest. Everyone was walking hastily. There were about a dozen of them, dressed in camouflage. Everyone had injuries of varying degrees, but no one was left behind. It was clear this was a well-trained team. The leader brought everyone to a river, and said to the people behind him in English, once we cross this river, we'll be safe. The words had just left his mouth. Before everyone could even breathe a sigh of relief, suddenly, a gunshot rang out from a distance. A bullet went straight into the leader's forehead. As the man fell, gunshots continuously rang out from all around. In the blink of an eye, the dozen or so people were reduced to only 4 or 5. Quick, jump into the river. A series of splashes sounded out. The river's surface also became murky. I didn't move an inch. My eyes were focused intently on the river's surface like a statue. Just then, coming through my earpiece was Tujia's low voice. Yuanwei, the main objective this time is to kill Dujie. The rest are just small fries. They can't do anything. Prepare to retreat. I frowned. I've always followed the principle of eliminating the problem at its root. But the commander of this mission was Tujiu. He said to retreat, so I had to agree. I put away my gun and turned to leave. Tujia's anxious voice suddenly came through the earpiece. Be careful. I also sensed the danger. My body suddenly fell to one side. A bullet grazed my cheek, instantly leaving a trail of blood. I turned and fired a shot in the direction the bullet came from. My speed was so fast that the opponent didn't even have time to fire a second shot. He fell to the ground with wide eyes, completely breathless. A whistle came through the earpiece, along with Shula's unconcealed praise. As expected of Yuan Wei, fast as always. My voice was cold. I have things to do. Just transfer the commission to my account. After saying that, I cut off the communication between us. Fu Wanting had people investigating for a full 3 days, but they couldn't even find out where I went. These 3 days, the aura around her grew colder and colder. No one in the company dared to approach her. CEO, here's the file I've compiled on Mr. Lin. Fu Wanting took the file and skimmed through it. There was nothing different from what she had investigated before. She coldly tossed the file onto the table. This is the result of your 3-day investigation? Keijing lowered her head, her face full of guilt. CEO Fu, we are still investigating, but not long after Mr. Lin left the villa, he disappeared from the surveillance cameras, so it's been very difficult to track him. We still haven't been able to find out his specific location. Keep investigating. After Keijing left, Fu Wanting felt even more annoyed. She couldn't focus on the documents in her hand at all. When I returned to the villa in the north of the city, it was past midnight. I forced the door open. As soon as I stepped inside, my body couldn't hold on any longer and I collapsed to the ground. Suddenly, an arm supported me. I wanted to open my eyes to see who it was, but my eyelids were too heavy to open. A second before I completely lost consciousness, I heard an almost inaudible sigh. When I woke up again, I found that the wounds on my body had been bandaged. I forced myself to sit up and put on a nightgown, supporting my body as I walked out. Just as I got downstairs, I was already covered in sweat. Hearing a noise in the kitchen, I was just about to go over when I saw Xiao coming out of the kitchen with a bowl of chicken soup. Seeing me, a flash of surprise appeared in her eyes. She hurriedly put down the bowl of soup in her hand and quickly came over to support me. The doctor said you need to rest. Before she could finish her sentence, a dagger was pressed against her neck. Why are you here? My voice was as cold as ice, completely lacking its previous gentleness. Last time I told Xiao not to come anymore. I got injured last night and she appeared here. This was too much of a coincidence. Xiao was stunned for a moment. Then she looked at me and said, I left a script here. When I came to get it, I saw you had fallen. After helping you up, I discovered you were injured, so I called a doctor to bandage your wounds for you. Seeing that I was unmoved, Xiao said with some resignation, if I really wanted to harm you, do you think you would still be alive right now? After a moment of silence, I finally lowered the dagger in my hand. Looking at Xiao, I said, Sorry, I misunderstood you just now. Xiao smiled. It's okay. Don't worry, I won't say anything. The doctor I found for you will also keep his mouth shut. Seeing that I had finally let my guard down, Xiao brought the bowl of chicken soup to me and said, "Have some chicken soup first. You've lost a lot of blood. You need to nourish your body well. Thanks." As I was lowering my head to drink the soup, the doorbell suddenly rang. Shema went to the door and saw that the person outside was Fu Wanting. Her eyes flickered and she opened the door directly. "CEO Fu, Yichen, he..." Before she could finish her sentence, she was forcefully pushed aside by Fu Wanting. Her tall figure also stepped inside. Seeing me in my pajamas, sitting at the dining table drinking chicken soup, a cold glint flashed in Fu Wanting's eyes. "Lin Yichen, the days you were missing, were you with this vixen?" Before I could speak, Xiao spoke up. "CEO Fu, don't misunderstand. Yichen, he..." Before she could finish, she was cut off coldly by Fu Wanting. "Was I talking to you, or is Lin Yichen mute that he needs you to speak for him?" Xiao's expression turned a bit ugly. She frowned and said, "You are Yichen's wife, yet you don't even know that these past few days, Yichen Xiao." I took a deep breath, looked at her calmly, and said, "Thank you for taking care of me. You should go home first. I'll treat you to a meal some other day to thank you." A trace of disappointment flashed in Xiao's eyes. She nodded and said, "Okay, then get some good rest." After getting her script, Xiao left. Instantly, only Fu Wanting and I were left in the living room. A suffocating silence hung between the two of us. Seeing me calmly drinking the chicken soup, Fu Wanting let out a cold laugh. "Don't you think you should explain this a little?" I said nothing, got up and walked to the drawer in front of the TV. I took out a card and placed it on the table. With a calm expression, I said, "There are 50 million in this card. Let's go file for divorce tomorrow." Lin Yichen. Fu Wanting stared into my eyes as if she wanted to spit fire. She gripped my wrist tightly and said coldly, "What is going on between you and Xiao?" I stumbled from her pull. I almost fell. I looked at her impatiently. "It's exactly as you see. I've also prepared the 50 million for you." "Can you get a divorce now?" Fu Wanting sneered. Her eyes were filled with coldness. "Is this 50 million your fee for accompanying her these past few days? Xiao is truly generous. You're worth this price." Seeing the unconcealed ridicule and contempt in her eyes, I frowned. "Where the money comes from has nothing to do with you. Don't you forget. You said before that if I could give you this amount of money, we would get a divorce." Fu Wanting threw the bank card on the table. Staring into my eyes, she said, "Money exchanged for your body. If you don't find it dirty, I do." I looked at her coldly, my eyes filled with anger. "So you want to go back on your word now? I make the rules. I will not accept this money, and I will not agree to a divorce." Seeing the angry look on her face, I couldn't help but sneer. "Fu Wanting, I didn't expect you to be so magnanimous. You already assume I have a relationship with Xiao, yet you can still stubbornly refuse to divorce. I really have to admire you." Fu Wanting looked at me with an icy expression. "Betraying me. Why should I let you live in peace? Whatever you want. Anyway, I've already given you the money. It's you who won't take it. If you don't agree, I'll sue for divorce. You just try it. Let's see who dares to accept your lawsuit." After speaking, Fu Wanting turned and left. I had been holding on for so long my body had reached its limit. I collapsed onto the chair. The wound on my stomach was faintly bleeding. For the next few days, I recovered from my injuries in the villa in the north of the city. I waited until my body felt a little better before I started going to work. On the very first day of work, Yang Dexiang mocked me during the meeting. CEO Lin disappeared for several days after offending CEO Bai. I really don't know if CEO Lin, as a general manager, has any sense of responsibility. I sneered. I threw the document straight onto the table, looking at Yang Dexiang with an icy expression. "I also want to ask CEO Yang, you knew very well that CEO Bai is a vulgar woman, yet you still sent me to negotiate this deal. What exactly were your intentions?" Yang Dexiang didn't expect me to be so direct. He gritted his teeth and said, "CEO Bai is a major client of the company. As long as we can successfully sign the contract, what does it matter if we make a small sacrifice? CEO Lin doesn't even have a spirit of sacrifice. How can we trust that CEO Lin can manage the company well? I couldn't be bothered to indulge him," I said coldly. "Since you have such a spirit of sacrifice, then you go sleep with Bai Shengli. When the contract is successfully signed, I will definitely give you a big reward." Yang Dexiang's face turned green with anger, and he slammed the table coldly. He left in a rage. My expression was indifferent. I continued the meeting. After the meeting ended, I asked Shen Hao to stay behind alone. Shen Hao felt a little worried, but his expression was calm. "CEO Lin, is there something you need from me?" I smiled. I looked at Shen Hao and said, "It's nothing much. I just wanted to remind CEO Shen not to stand on the wrong side, to avoid ending up with nothing." Shen Zhenzhou is Shen Hao's third uncle. If it weren't for 3 years ago, when Shen Hao's father, Shen Zhenming, borrowed money from Shen Zhenzhou and lost at gambling, Shen Hao wouldn't have given Shen Zhenzhou 10% of Mai's shares, making Shen Zhenzhou a shareholder of Mai. If he was content being a shareholder, that would be fine. But if he wanted to play tricks behind my back, I wouldn't mind eliminating them one by one. Hearing this, the smile on Shen Zhenzhou's face didn't change. "Don't worry, CEO Lin. I won't take any side. I only stand on my own side. That's for the best." In the evening, I had just returned to the villa. When I saw Fu Wanting standing at the door, I frowned and intended to ignore Fu Wanting and walk straight past. As I passed her, she grabbed my wrist again. Lin Yishen, come home with me. I frowned at her, my expression a little annoyed. Fu Wanting, can you stop pestering me? In the beginning, I married you without your consent. That was my fault. But I also helped you heal your leg. For the past 3 years, I feel I have done nothing wrong to you. Now I want to leave and live my own life. That's not too much to ask, is it? Fu Wanting's pupils contracted. A few seconds later, she gritted her teeth and said, I've said it before, divorce is absolutely impossible. I've investigated thoroughly. You weren't with Xiao those days. Where on earth did you go, and how did you get this 50 million? If you don't want me to continue investigating, then come back to the villa with me right now and be a good husband to me, Fu Wanting. My hand clenched involuntarily, a struggle flashing in my eyes. Then I shook her hand off and got in the car myself. On the way back, neither of us said a word. I was extremely frustrated. I didn't know what was wrong with Fu Wanting. I agreed to divorce her. Shouldn't she be rushing to file the divorce papers with me? Now pestering me like this, neither of us is happy. Back at the villa, I went straight upstairs. Just as I reached the top of the stairs, Fu Wanting's voice came from behind. The day after tomorrow is your grandfather's birthday. A while ago, I won a pair of antique vases at an auction. How about we use that pair of antique vases as a gift? I turned my head and looked at her with an indifferent expression. Do whatever you want. You don't need to ask me about this. Fu Wanting frowned. Old Master Lin is your grandfather. So what? A trace of ridicule flashed in my eyes. It's just a blood relationship, that's all. No one in the Lin family has ever considered me family, and I don't have a penchant for being mistreated, having to carefully curry favor with the Lin family. Regardless, we will attend his birthday together. Got it. I threw out those 2 words coldly and went straight upstairs. Fu Wanting looked at my back, her eyes cold. It was unclear what she was thinking. Back in my room, I was about to order takeout when I received a call from Shen Hao. Yi Chen, there was something I forgot to tell you today. Fu Wanting wants to see you. A hint of surprise flashed in my eyes, then I frowned and said, Is it about the acquisition of Mai? The Fu Group had been intending to acquire it for a month now. We have negotiated several times, but they still haven't yielded. They probably heard that you've returned. They want to talk to you personally. To be fair, the price they're offering is actually very good. If you hadn't come back, those old shareholders might have sold Mai. Not hearing my reply, Shen Hao continued, If you don't want to meet Fu Wanting, I can refuse. I was silent for 2 seconds, then spoke softly. No need. Send me the time and place. Now that I'm back in M City, you'll have to meet her sooner or later. Then I'll go discuss the time with the Fu Corporation. I hung up. I was about to continue looking at takeout options when there was a sudden knock on the door. Fu Wanting's low voice came through. Auntie has already come over to cook dinner. I have something to do tonight. You can come downstairs to eat later. I didn't answer. A moment later, I heard the sound of a car engine starting. I went to the window, just in time to see Fu Wanting's car, its taillights disappearing from view. 5 minutes later, I went downstairs. Seeing the table filled with my favorite dishes, a flicker of surprise passed through my eyes, but I didn't think much of it. I ate, washed the dishes, and went back to my room to read on the balcony for a while. As I was getting ready for bed, I suddenly heard a car engine. I looked down and found that Fu Wanting was back. She had called a designated driver. Her movements as she got out of the car were a bit unsteady. She had clearly had too much to drink. The driver parked the car and left. Seeing Fu Wanting almost fall several times, I withdrew my gaze without expression. I closed the book and went back to my room to sleep, but the room next door kept making all sorts of noises. It was so noisy I couldn't sleep. I frowned, got up, and went to the master bedroom door. I knocked impatiently and said coldly, Please be quiet. You're being so loud I can't sleep. The noise inside stopped. I turned to leave, but the door behind me suddenly opened. I turned my head in confusion, but before I could react, a delicate hand pulled me into the darkness. Before I could even react, I was pushed against the door by Fu Wanting. She reeked of alcohol. It was obvious at a glance that she was very drunk. Her body pressing against mine was also burning hot. I tried to push her away but couldn't. I immediately got a little angry. Fu Wanting, let go. As soon as I finished speaking, my lips were captured. If this continues, something will definitely happen. I grabbed Fu Wanting's hand and with a click, turned on the bedroom light. The sudden light made Fu Wanting squint instinctively. My angry face also appeared in her eyes. Let me go. I'll go find someone else for you. The anger in Fu Wanting's heart suddenly flared up. She gripped my hand tightly and said word by word, Yichen, you are my husband, yet you want to find another man for me. Does this man really have no heart? Hearing the meaning in Fu Wanting's voice, I pursed my lips. I said coldly, soon I won't be. Fu Wanting gave a cold laugh. Her eyes, filled with desire, stared at my face. Since I suggested a divorce, she has been indulging me in every way. She yielded to me in everything. I didn't expect that not only did I not have any intention of changing my mind, but even now, I was still thinking about divorce. Fu Wanting lowered her head and bit my lip hard. Before I could speak, she said coldly, If you want a divorce so badly, I can grant it to you. I looked up at her, my eyes filled with disbelief. Really? Fu Wanting tried her best to suppress the anger in her heart. Her voice was as cold as ice, like snow that had been sealed for 1,000 years. The prerequisite is that you have to be with me tonight. Along with Fu Wanting's words, my face immediately turned pale. I bit my lower lip. I said coldly, "Aren't you afraid Lin Yifei will find out?" Fu Wanting's gaze at me was cold as she said word by word, "It has nothing to do with you. You just need to tell me whether you agree or not." I took a deep breath and took a step back. I looked at her coldly. "I refuse." Fu Wanting let out a cold laugh. "It seems you don't want a divorce that badly after all." At this point, my mood had calmed down. I looked at Fu Wanting with a calm expression and said, "I don't need to rely on this method to get a divorce. You will agree to the divorce." Seeing the certainty in my eyes, Fu Wanting's heart was filled with frustration. She said coldly, I turned and left directly. It wasn't until I left the main room that the cold gaze behind me disappeared. Very soon, it was Old Master Lin's birthday. Early in the morning, Old Master Lin called Lin Zhen. "Is CEO Fu coming today?" Although Fu Wanting is my wife, everyone in the Lin family didn't dare to be neglectful towards her. After all, many of the Lin family's major contracts agreed to by the other party because of the Lin family's connection with Fu Wanting. If Fu Wanting came to Old Master Lin's birthday banquet today, it would definitely bring great honor to the Lin family. Lin Zhen was eating breakfast. Hearing this, he said, "Dad, don't worry. Even if Yichen can't get CEO Fu to come, can't you trust Yifei? If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have forgotten. Then go take care of your business first." He hung up the phone. Lin Zhen looked at Lin Yifei and said, "Call CEO Fu. We must have her come today to attend your grandfather's birthday banquet." Lin Yifei felt that Lin Zhen and Old Master Lin were too tense and couldn't help but say, "Dad, what's the big deal? Sister Wanting already promised me, so she will definitely come. Calling her again will make our Lin family seem like we have other intentions." Lin Zhen thought that made sense. He nodded and said, "Then when CEO Fu arrives later, remember to take her to see your grandfather immediately." "Got it. I still have to go buy a formal suit. I am heading out first." An hour later, at the largest shopping mall in Longcheng, Lin Yifei and Bai Muchen were strolling and chatting. Bai Muchen was Lin Yifei's best friend. He had just recently returned to the country. "Muchen, you're not leaving again this time, are you?" Bai Muchen's face was all smiles as he nodded and said, "My work in Country M has been handed over. Next, if there are no major issues, it'll probably stay in Longcheng." Lin Yifei looked at him with a teasing expression. "You came back to Longcheng for Xin Yi, didn't you?" Bai Muchen and Xin Yi used to be in love. Later, Bai Muchen chose to go abroad for his career. He broke up with Xin Yi. All these years, Xin Yi hasn't found a new boyfriend. Everyone knows Xin Yi is waiting for Bai Muchen. A trace of embarrassment flashed across Bai Muchen's face. He glared at Lin Yifei and said, "Don't talk nonsense. I feel Longcheng is close to home so I can spend more time with my parents. There's no such nonsense as you say." Seeing his reaction, Lin Yifei didn't tease him anymore and said with a smile, "Tonight, Xin Yi will also be at my grandfather's birthday party. It'll create an opportunity for you then, so you can be alone with her." Bai Muchen shook his head. "No need. She and I still have some unresolved misunderstandings. I'll handle it myself. All right then. If you need any help, just let me know anytime." Right. There's something I want to tell you. What is it?" Bai Muchen took out his phone, opened a video, and showed it to Lin Yifei. "I saw this at Charm the day I returned to the country. Recently, I've been hesitating whether to tell you or not." Seeing the video of Fu Wanting and me entangled, the smile on Lin Yifei's face gradually turned cold. "Yifei, you should pay more attention to this twin brother of yours. You haven't been in the country for these past few years. Who knows how many things he's done behind your back. I'm afraid hell steal Fu Wanting from you." About the marriage with Fu Wanting, Bai Muchen had no idea. He always thought that Lin Yifei and Fu Wanting were a couple. Encountering this, his first reaction was that I was being sneaky, seducing Fu Wanting behind Lin Yifei's back. Lin Yifei forced a smile and said innocently, "Muchen, this video doesn't prove anything. Maybe my brother got into some trouble at the bar, and Sister Wanting helped him out for my sake." Bai Muchen couldn't help but shake his head. "Yifei, you don't know. That day at the bar, he called for female models. He even fed fruit to the female model. Even I found that scene hard to watch. You don't still think he's a perfect gentleman, do you?" After a few seconds of silence, Lin Yifei pursed his lips and said, "Muchen, you said my brother called for female models. Do you have proof? Although I didn't record it, the bar's surveillance cameras must have recorded it." Seeing Lin Yifei remain silent, Bai Muchen suddenly suggested, "I suddenly have a great idea." Lin Yifei looked at Bai Muchen with a puzzled expression. "What idea?" Bai Muchen leaned close to Lin Yifei's ear and whispered a few sentences. Lin Yifei said with a slightly troubled expression, "That's not very nice. What's not nice about it? Let's just decide on that. You don't need to worry, just leave it to me." But Bai Muchen couldn't help but frown, saying with some dissatisfaction, "There are no buts. Just listen to me." Lin Yifei nodded. "All right then." The two continued shopping for clothes, but in his heart, Lin Yifei was calculating how to make Bai Muchen's plan a little more perfect. This villain wouldn't step aside on his own, so he could only take matters into his own hands. On the other side, I woke up in the morning and went straight to the company. When Shen Hao came to deliver documents, he also gave me an invitation. "They've invited you to Old Master Lin's birthday party," I said with a calm expression. "Are they too idle?" Shen Hao smiled and placed the invitation on the table. I'm just a little curious. If the Lin family knew you were the founder of Mai, would they regret treating you like that in the past? The favoritism of Lin Zhen and Xu Ru towards Lin Yifei, Shen Hao had witnessed it firsthand at a party once. At that time, he even pitied me for a while. Later, his family went bankrupt. He came to Mai for an interview and saw me sitting in the middle of the interview panel with a plaque in front of me that read CEO. He immediately felt that he was the pitiful one. I glanced at him. Are you free? Hey, buddy, why don't you come to the party with me? Then I'll publicly announce your identity as the CEO of Mai to the Lin family, especially the expression on your scheming younger brother's face. It will definitely be priceless. I'm not interested. Tonight, I have to go with Fu Wanting. Shen Hao's eyes widened in surprise. Aren't you and her about to get divorced? Why are you still going to the party together? Hearing that, a trace of annoyance flashed in my eyes, and my voice deepened a few degrees. Something happened. We haven't divorced yet. Shen Hao looked at me with a scrutinizing gaze and said slowly, You don't regret it and don't want to divorce anymore, do you? I was about to speak when the phone on the table suddenly rang. Seeing it was the manager of JM, Chen Wenya, a hint of confusion flashed in my eyes. As soon as I answered, Chen Wenya's slightly anxious voice came through. Boss, a customer has taken a liking to that Aoshi suit. He intends to pay double the price to buy it. I frowned. Didn't you tell him that Aoshu is not for sale? I designed that suit as a birthday gift for Shen Hao. It's just that I've been too busy recently to pick it up. I did, but the other party is the young master of the Bai family, Bai Muchen. He insists on buying Aoshi. He even said he'd pay 10 times the price. I'm afraid of offending the Bai family because of this, so for a moment, I didn't know what to do. I was silent for 2 seconds. I said with a calm expression, Tell him that besides Aoshi, he can choose any suit in the store. They'll give it to him for free. Yes, I know what to do now. Hanging up the phone, Chen Wenya walked over to Lin Yifei and Bai Muchen, with an apologetic expression on her face. Mr. Bai, I'm very sorry. Our boss does not agree to sell Aoshi. To show our sincerity, any other formal suit in the store, as long as Mr. Bai likes it, we can give it to you for free. A flicker of excitement passed through Bai Muchen's eyes. The formal wear at JM has a novel design, and the average price for each suit is over $1 million. Before seeing Aoshi, he had already noticed several other suits. He glanced at the suits he had noticed earlier. Although they were also very handsome, they didn't feel as outstanding as Aoshi. Just by seeing Aoshi, he could imagine himself wearing this suit, how much he would shine at the party. Bai Muchen was silent for a moment, then looked at Chen Wenya with some displeasure and said, If the suit has been put on display by the staff, and a customer likes it, it should be sold to the customer. Otherwise, if someone likes a suit in the future, and you people jump out saying it's not for sale, then who would still come here to buy clothes? I admit that JM's clothes are indeed beautiful, but JM isn't the only option in Longcheng. Hearing Bai Muchen's coercive tone, although Chen Wenya was still smiling, she was already feeling a bit impatient inside. Mr. Bai, this suit is really not for sale. Please take a look at the other suits. Bai Muchen gave a cold laugh, his eyes filled with anger. What if I insist on having this suit? The smile on Chen Wenya's face also faded a little. No matter what Mr. Bai says, this suit will not. I have other matters to attend to. Mr. Bai, please take your time choosing. Just tell the staff which one you've chosen. Please excuse me. After speaking, Chen Wenya turned and left directly. Bai Muchen was furious, staring angrily at her retreating back. You, stop right there. If not, I'll never come to this store of yours again, and I'll even rally all my friends to boycott JM together. I mean what I say. Chen Wenya's gaze turned a few degrees colder. She turned her head back and looked at Bai Muchen with a serious expression. Mr. Bai, I've already explained to you, this suit is not for sale. A staff member hung it up by mistake. I also said that any other suit in the store, you can choose freely and we will give it to you for free, but you keep being so unreasonable, and now you're even threatening to boycott JM. We don't cause trouble, but we're not afraid of it either. Please help yourself. Hearing this, Bai Muchen's expression immediately became even uglier. Just as he was about to speak, Lin Yifei beside him quickly pulled him back. Manager Chen, please don't be angry. Muchen is only acting like this because he likes this suit so much. That's why he got so agitated. I apologize to you on his behalf. Bai Muchen frowned and was about to speak, but was stopped by a look from Lin Yifei. Chen Wenya said with a calm expression, There's no need for an apology. This matter, from the very beginning, was our store's fault. Mr. Lin, please take your time. I'll be excusing myself. After Chen Wenya left, Bai Muchen looked at Lin Yifei with dissatisfaction and said, Yifei, why did you stop me just now? She's just a store manager, yet she dared to be so arrogant in front of me. Lin Yifei was silent for a moment, then said in a low voice, Muchen, you just got back. You still don't know JM's status in Longcheng. Basically, all the young masters and celebrities you can name all have their formal wear tailored at JM. If you offend JM, it won't be a good thing for you. Bai Muchen snorted coldly and said disdainfully, It's just a clothing store, what's so great about it? I don't believe there are no other brands besides JM. Big international brands like DI and CH wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. Lin Yifei didn't explain much, just smiled and said, You'll find out later. Let's pick our suits first. Didn't you like a few of them just now? Compared to Aoshi, I always feel like something is missing. Aoshi isn't for sale, so I can only choose something inferior. On the other side, I had just hung up the phone when Shenhao looked at me with a puzzled expression. Is there a problem at JM? I had a slightly helpless expression. The suit I designed before, that I intended to give you for your birthday, was hung out by a new employee. As a result, someone took a liking to it and wants to buy it. Shenhao raised an eyebrow, his eyes full of curiosity. What's the suit like? It just so happens I have to go to a party tonight. Tell Wenya to bring it over. I can wear it to the party. Your birthday is still half a month away. Let's talk about it on your birthday. Go get to work. I have documents to review. Shenhao pestered me for a while longer, but was still unsuccessful, so he had to go to work. In the afternoon, close to quitting time, I received a call from Fu Wanting. I'm downstairs at my. When do you get off work? Fu Wanting's voice carried a coldness, clearly still angry about last night's events. 5 o'clock. A little over 10 minutes. If you're in a hurry, I can come down now. No need. It'll wait for you. As soon as it was time to get off work, I put down the work in my hands and went downstairs. Just as I stepped out of I saw the black Maybach parked by the road. I walked to the car. As soon as I opened the door and sat down, I felt my whole body enveloped in coldness. Fu Wanting stared at the documents in her hand, not even looking up as she ordered the driver to drive. The two were silent the entire way to the gate of the Lin family's old house. As the car was about to stop, I turned my head to look at Fu Wanting. Later, if someone asks me why I came in your car, just say it was on the way, that Lin Yifei asked you to pick me up. Fu Wanting frowned slightly, looking at me with cold eyes. Am I that shameful? We've been secretly married for 3 years. Now we're about to divorce. There's no need to let others know we were ever married. Fu Wanting let out a cold laugh, her tone mocking. Afraid that others knowing will affect you finding someone new? A flash of surprise appeared in my eyes. I said with a blank expression, it's good that you know. I turned, about to open the car door to get out, when my wrist was suddenly grabbed tightly. I lost my balance and fell into Fu Wanting's arms. I frowned and reached out to push Fu Wanting away when her cold voice sounded by my ear. Lin Yichin, you are really, time and time again, testing my patience. At this time, outside the car, the Lin family members, having heard that Fu Wanting's car had arrived, all came out to welcome her. Old Master Lin stood at the very front, his face filled with a triumphant smile like a spring breeze. Fu Wanting, coming to his birthday party this time, had given him and the Lin family enough face, and it was a good time to intimidate those who greedily wanted to take advantage of the Lin family. Zhuru also had an arrogant expression. If it weren't for Lin Yifei, Fu Wanting wouldn't have come. It was all because she had raised a good son, but everyone waited for a few minutes and still didn't see Fu Wanting get out of the car and couldn't help but feel a little anxious. The guests saw the Lin family making such a big show and also followed them outside, but in the end, they didn't see Fu Wanting and couldn't help but start whispering, "What's going on? Could it be that CEO Fu isn't coming? I think the Lin family must have offended CEO Fu somehow. That's why she's deliberately not getting out of the car." Didn't they say CEO Fu likes Lin Yifei? Even if the Lin family offended CEO Fu, Lin Yifei just needs to go and coax her. I'm afraid Lin Yifei had a fight with CEO Fu, so CEO Fu is deliberately waiting for Lin Yifei to invite her out of the car. The crowd's whispers reached the ears of the Lin family. Old Master Lin couldn't help but look towards Lin Yifei. Yifei, go and personally invite CEO Fu out of the car. A trace of embarrassment flashed across Lin Yifei's face. He nodded and said, yes. He walked to the car and called out gently, Sister Wanting, everyone is waiting for you, please come out. In the car, Fu Wanting and I were looking at each other when we suddenly heard Lin Yifei's deliberately softened voice. I couldn't help but shiver, goosebumps covering my entire body. I looked at Fu Wanting with a half smile, deliberately imitating Lin Yifei's tone. Sister Wanting, your affectionate little brother is outside the car. Fu Wanting frowned even tighter, gritting her teeth. Lin Yichen, you speak properly. I rolled my eyes. With you holding my hand like this, it's very hard for me to speak properly. After a few seconds of silence, Fu Wanting released my hand with an indifferent expression and said coldly, get out of the car. I directly opened the car door and got out. Lin Yifei was waiting outside with an expectant look. The moment he saw me, his expression suddenly became extremely ugly. Lin Yichen, why is it you? I raised an eyebrow, smiled, and said, little brother, you seem very surprised to see me. Not only Lin Yifei, the expressions of everyone in the Lin family changed when they saw me. Especially Shuru, gaze fixed on me as if she were looking at a dead person. I'm sure he did it on purpose. Since returning to the Lin family, I've tried every means to steal the spotlight from Lin Yifei. Fu Wanting got out from the other side of the car, came to my side, and naturally linked her arm with mine. I frowned, wanting to pull away but failing. I couldn't help but grit my teeth and whisper, Fu Wanting, are you sick? Look how many people are watching. Aren't you afraid they'll misunderstand? Misunderstand what? We are husband and wife. Isn't this very normal? I gave a cold laugh and said no more. In the eyes of outsiders, the two of us looked like we were whispering intimately. Everyone immediately broke into an uproar. What's going on? Didn't they say CEO Fu and Lin Yifei were a couple? Why is she being so intimate with Lin Yichen now? Lin Yifei was abroad for 3 years. No matter how deep the feelings, they fade. Perhaps Lin Yichen took the opportunity to step in long ago. Lin Yifei is just hilarious. Just now in the banquet hall, he deliberately and casually revealed that at his invitation Fu Wanting would come to his grandfather's party, acting as if he had a lot of face. I wonder if his face hurts now. Me too. I've long disliked his high and mighty attitude. Seeing this scene now is so satisfying. Hearing the chatter from those around him, Lin Yifei was so angry he wanted to slap me twice on the spot. I'm sure he deliberately came in Fu Wanting's car, with the purpose of embarrassing him in front of everyone. He looked at Fu Wanting, his eyes welling with tears. Sister Wanting, you two are too much. After saying that, his eyes were red as he turned and left. I watched his retreating back, my eyes instinctively narrowing. Lin Yifei is still as much of a green tea as ever. This sentence of his seems to say nothing, but in reality, it says everything. It both showed that he didn't know anything before and implicitly pointed out that I had interfered in their relationship. Truly a master of the art of green tea. As expected, those guests looked at me. Their gazes were already a bit off, but I didn't care. I even turned my head to look at Fu Wanting. Your little lover is feeling wronged. Aren't you going to comfort him? Fu Wanting frowned and said coldly, Lin Yichen, don't go too far. I smiled and said no more. The Lin family knew about my marriage to Fu Wanting, but Shuru still thought that I had stolen Fu Wanting from Lin Yifei's side. She looked at me with a cold expression and said in a cold voice, what kind of decency is this, being so touchy-feely in front of so many people? Towards my mother, Shu Ru, when I first returned to the Lin family, I still held some illusions. But later, because of Shu Rao's biased actions, I now only see her as a stranger. It's Fu Wanting who insists on holding on to me. You should say this to her instead. It's useless to say it to me. Seeing my nonchalant expression and daring to talk back to her, Shu Ru immediately became even angrier, saying coldly, Lin Yichen, what did you just say? Do you still have me, your mother, in your eyes? Old Master Lin beside her frowned, his voice laced with anger. All right, everyone say less. Don't let outsiders laugh at us. Lin Zhen hurriedly nodded, gave Shu Ru a cold glance, and looked at Fu Wanting with a smile. CEO Fu, please come in. Fu Wanting, with an indifferent expression, pulled me into the banquet hall. My heart was full of frustration, not wanting to be by Fu Wanting's side for another second. Miss Fu, you probably still have business to discuss with others. Can you let me go now? Seeing the impatience hidden in my eyes, and the look on my face as if I wanted to run away from her immediately, Fu Wanting's gaze turned a few degrees colder. If you don't want me to reveal that we're husband and wife in front of everyone, then stay obediently by my side. Don't go anywhere. I frowned, then thinking of something, I sneered and said, fine then, as long as you're not afraid of others calling Lin Yifei a homewrecker for wanting to interfere in our marriage, then go ahead and make it public. Without waiting for Fu Wanting to say anything, I coldly shook off Fu Wanting's hand, turned around, and walked straight away. Looking at my back, Fu Wanting's face was cold. It seems she has been too lenient with me recently. Now I even dare to show her attitude. I found a place with no people, intending to rest for a bit, when a Lin family servant came over. Young master, the mistress asks you to come over. I followed the servant to Shu Rao's room. As soon as I entered, a slap came flying at my face. My eyes turned cold. I took a step back to dodge it, looking at Shuru with a cold expression. Shuru failed to slap me and almost fell herself, which made her even angrier. She pointed at my nose and asked, Lin Yichen, why are you so vicious? You knew very well that your brother and Fu Wanting like each other, yet you deliberately embarrassed him in front of the guests. Are you even human? A hint of mockery flashed in my eyes. Clearly, Fu Wanting and I are husband and wife, but in Shu Ru's eyes, it was I who had stolen Fu Wanting from Lin Yifei's side. Favoritism to this extent is truly an eye-opener. I looked at Shu Ru with a cold expression. 3 years ago, when Fu Wanting was paralyzed from a car accident, Lin Yifei deliberately hid abroad, pretending not to know. At that time, when I offered to marry her, why didn't you object? Now that Fu Wanting's legs have recovered, Lin Yifei has returned, and am supposed to give Fu Wanting to him. On what grounds? It's all because you owe Yifei. If it weren't for him, do you think you could have returned to the Lin family? Lin Yichen, don't be ungrateful for your blessings. I was so angry I laughed, looking at Shuru coldly and saying, what do I owe him? If I hadn't donated my bone marrow to him, could he have lived until now? In the beginning, you all begged me to return to the Lin family. Otherwise, do you think I'd care to come back here? Shuru let out a cold laugh, her eyes filled with a high and mighty attitude. If it wasn't because you could donate bone marrow to Yifei, you'd still be farming in that poor mountain valley right now. Everything you have today is thanks to the Lin family. I had an indifferent expression. Say whatever you want. Shuru pointed at me and said coldly, it's because you're so stubborn that I hate you this much. Is there anything else? My eyes were filled with impatience. The anger that Shuru had struggled to suppress immediately flared up again. Lin Yichen, is this how you talk to me? Seeing Shuru's agitated expression, I looked at her and said, what kind of attitude do you want? Shuru frowned, her face full of disgust as she spoke. Forget it. I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with you. Yifei is back. When are you planning to divorce Fu Wanting? What does Lin Yifei's return have to do with whether Fu Wanting and I get a divorce? Shu Ru snorted coldly. Don't play dumb. Fu Wanting and Yifei like each other. You being stuck in the middle just makes you a laughingstock. My expression was indifferent. Fu Wanting and I are husband and wife. I'm not the one stuck in the middle, and I'm not the one being laughed at. Shu Ru's face turned pale with anger. She gritted her teeth and said, Are there no other women in the world that you have to fight with Yifei over one? A cold smile appeared on my lips, and I said word by word, Mrs. Shu, I hope you can understand clearly. Right now, it's Lin Yifei who wants to fight with me. Instead of being here forcing me to initiate the divorce, you might as well have Lin Yifei try a little harder. As long as he can get Fu Wanting to ask for a divorce, I will sign immediately and definitely won't cling to Fu Wanting. Fine, Lin Yichen, remember what you said today? I said nothing more and turned to leave directly. When I returned to the banquet hall, Lin Laoye was giving a birthday speech. I had no interest in listening, found a less crowded place to sit down, took out my phone, and was about to play a few rounds of a game when someone suddenly sat down next to me. Turning my head, I saw it was Shen Hao. I calmly withdrew my gaze and continued playing my game. Shen Hao glanced at my phone's screen, frowned and said, You've been playing for so many years, aren't you tired of it yet? Not tired. Shen Hao glanced at my handsome side profile and couldn't help but exclaim, You're clearly better than Lin Yifei in every aspect. Why are the Lin family members so blind that they can't see it? No, Fu Wanting is blind too. Thinking of the scene he had just seen in the garden, a flash of anger appeared in Shen Hao's eyes. He tried to hold it in but couldn't help speaking. Just now in the garden I saw Fu Wanting and Lin Yifei hugging each other. I almost threw up my lunch. The movement of my hands didn't stop at all, I said without emotion. They were a couple to begin with. You might see more scenes like that in the future. It's better to get used to it early. I can't get used to it. How can you say Fu Wanting is such a good person, yet has such bad taste in men? Of all people to like, she likes that scheming Lin Yifei. I just finished a round of the game, put away my phone, glanced at Shen Hao and said, To each their own. Besides, when you like someone, you naturally feel that everything about them is good. Seeing my calm expression, Shen Hao couldn't help but frown. The problem is, you and Fu Wanting aren't divorced yet. Are you just going to stand by and watch yourself get cheated on like this? What else can I do? Our marriage was a secret. Not many people knew about it in the first place. The way they are now seems very normal to others. After a moment of silence, Shen Hao patted my shoulder and said, You're so pitiful. He'll definitely treat you better from now on. No need for from now on. You can start treating me better right now. I want some fruit. Go get some for me. Shen Hao couldn't help but laugh. All right, I'll go get it for you. Not long after Shen Hao left, Lin Laoye stepped down from the stage, and it was Lin Xiaoyu's turn. Lin Xiaoyu is currently studying at Jing University. He's very outstanding and is very pampered in the Lin family. Now Lin Xiaoyu is on stage showing a video that he personally made to wish Lin Laoye a happy birthday. The video had only been playing for a dozen seconds when the screen suddenly went black. Everyone was stunned for a moment, thinking the screen was broken. But the next second, the screen suddenly lit up again. However, the screen was no longer showing the previous video, but a surveillance video instead. It was the surveillance video of Shen Hao and me with the female models at Mise. I had lost a game and was feeding fruit to that female model. The surveillance camera captured this segment and played it on a loop. All the guests were first astonished, then everyone subconsciously looked towards me and started whispering, Oh my god, I can't believe the man the Lin family brought back is such a playboy, openly getting female models. As expected, someone who grew up outside is different. The Lin family is about to lose all face. I wonder if the Lin family regrets bringing him back. If I were Lin Zhen and Shu Ru, I'd probably die of anger. I just came to attend Lin Laoye's birthday party. I didn't expect there to be such a good show. Lin Xiaoyu on stage had an embarrassed expression. Feeling Lin Laoye's dissatisfied gaze on him, even a fool would know he had been set up. Who set me up? Who benefits the most? Of course, it's that person. The expression on Lin Laoye's face could no longer be described as pale. His whole body radiated anger. Lin Zhen, Shu Ru, is this the good son you raised? He's made me lose all my old face. Lin Zhen frowned and spoke. Dad, the most important thing now is to quickly explain this away. Lin Laoye had a cold expression. He gritted his teeth and said, What's there to explain? Haven't we lost enough face already? Shu Ru also had an angry expression. In my opinion, we should just sever ties with him. Otherwise, who knows what kind of earth-shattering trouble he'll cause in the future. Lin Zhen glanced at me coldly. You shut up. If you had managed him properly, would this have happened? Shu Ru immediately felt extremely wronged. What does it have to do with me? He was outside for over 10 years. Who knows who he learned these indecent things from? All right, that's enough. Isn't it chaotic enough? From now on, he's not allowed to take another step into the Lin family home. Lin Zhen wanted to say more, but was pulled back by Shu Ru. Can't you see Dad is furious? If you say anything more now, you'll only make him angrier. Lin Zhen reluctantly held his tongue, but he also felt a bit angry inside, feeling that I was truly thoughtless. Today, seeing Fu Wanting arrive with me, he thought we had a good relationship. He never expected this to happen now. Seeing Lin Zhen and Shu Ru fall silent, Lin Laotaitai spoke. If he's the one who did it, then let him come and explain it himself. At this moment, Fu Wanting and Lin Yifei also walked into the banquet hall. Seeing the content on the screen, their expressions were different. A smug look flashed in Lin Yifei's eyes. It seems Bai Muchen's method really worked. Now everyone must think I'm a promiscuous jerk. As for Fu Wanting, her face was grim. She quickly walked to my side and said coldly, "What is this about?" I glanced at her coolly. "You're asking me? I also want to know who did it. The fact that I went to the bar, besides Shen Hao, only you knew. Shen Hao wouldn't do this." Hearing this, Fu Wanting's expression immediately became extremely cold. "Are you suspecting me?" I nodded without hesitation. "Shouldn't I suspect you? After all, I've offended the person you like. You might have gotten angry and wanted to vent on his behalf, so doing something like this is very normal." Anger flashed in Fu Wanting's eyes. "In your heart, am I that kind of person?" I said nothing. A sense of anger and helplessness rose in Fu Wanting's heart. I never believed her. Just as the atmosphere between the two of us dropped to a freezing point, a Lin family servant came over. "Young master, the old madam wants you to come over and explain this matter clearly yourself." My expression was indifferent. What is there to explain? What everyone saw is the truth. The servant's face looked a bit awkward, their tone a bit dissatisfied. "Young master, because of this, the old madam was so angry she had to take several heart pills. If you don't go over and explain, the old madam will definitely be even angrier." Before I could say anything, my wrist was suddenly grabbed by someone. By the time I reacted, I had already been pulled forward a few steps by Fu Wanting. I frowned at Fu Wanting and said coldly, "Fu Wanting, what are you trying to do? Let go of me." Lin Yifei, who was nearby, hurriedly ran over to block Fu Wanting, his eyes full of worry. "Sister Wanting, what are you planning to do? Although my brother was wrong in this matter, explaining now will only make things worse. Why don't you just let my brother leave first?" I looked at Lin Yifei coldly. If someone told me today's incident had nothing to do with Lin Yifei, I wouldn't believe it. Telling me to leave now is probably to make it easier to slander me later. A glint appeared in Lin Yifei's eyes. He looked at me with a wronged expression. "Brother, I'm always thinking of you. Why do you always think I'm so malicious? If I find out that today's incident has anything to do with you, I will definitely not let you off." "Lin Yifei, you don't need to be here pretending to be a good person. It wasn't me who told him to go to the bar and get female models. Even if he's angry that this was exposed, he can't take his anger out on me." Just then, Shuru also walked over to Lin Yifei's side. Looking at me with disgust, she said, "You brought this on yourself, messing around with those kinds of indecent women, and now you have the nerve to frame Yifei. Why did I give birth to a monster like you?" Lin Yifei quickly pulled Shuru back, pretending to be magnanimous. "Mom, it's okay if I am a little wronged. It's just that my brother's reputation might be ruined. Even if it's ruined, he did it to himself. It has nothing to do with you." Seeing Shuru and Lin Yifei playing off each other, if my hand wasn't still being held by Fu Wanting, I would have wanted to applaud them. Fu Wanting didn't even look at Lin Yifei and directly pulled me to the center of the stage. Everyone looked at Fu Wanting in astonishment, not knowing what she was planning to do. I looked at Fu Wanting with a mocking expression. "It seems you've really fallen for Lin Yifei. Showing the surveillance video on the big screen wasn't enough. You also wanted to drag me out in front of everyone, to humiliate me once more." Lin Yifei, who was beside me, thought the same. Fu Wanting must feel that I'm a disgrace, and wants to publicly sever ties with me. The next second, Fu Wanting's words made me freeze on the spot. "Just now, Mrs. Lin said she wanted an explanation. Fine. My husband can explain. I'm just afraid your Lin family won't be able to handle it." As soon as she finished speaking, everyone burst into an uproar. Did I hear that right? Isn't Fu Wanting a couple with Lin Yifei? Why is she now saying Lin Yichin is her husband? A moment ago, I thought Lin Yichin was the third party. Turns out Lin Yifei is the other man. He clearly knew Lin Yichen and Fu Wanting were married, yet he's still entangled with his sister-in-law. What a scheming man. The most shocking thing, isn't it, that Fu Wanting saw Lin Yichen feeding fruit to a female model and could still calmly announce their marriage? Lin Yifei's face was as pale as paper. His whole body trembled uncontrollably. I never expected that Fu Wanting would publicly admit that she was married to Lin Yichen. Doesn't she dislike Lin Yichen? Why? Shuru saw the pained expression on Lin Yifei's face, and her heart ached instantly. She hurriedly supported Lin Yifei, whose body was about to collapse limply. "Yifei, don't be sad. Fu Wanting surely doesn't want the Lin family to lose more face, so she deliberately said that in front of everyone." Hearing this, Lin Yifei, as if grasping at a life-saving straw, subconsciously nodded and said, "It must be like that. Sister Wanting couldn't possibly like my brother. We are the ones who are a couple." Mr. and Mrs. Lin looked at each other, both seeing the astonishment in each other's eyes. They had always thought the relationship between Fu Wanting and me was not good. Now that Lin Yifei was back, we would definitely get a divorce, which is why they dared to belittle and plot against me so brazenly. If Fu Wanting had feelings for me, they would have to reconsider. Very quickly, Mr. Lin reacted, repeatedly saying to Fu Wanting, "CEO Fu, you're exaggerating. We just feel there might be some misunderstanding, so we wanted to have Yichin come and explain to the guests a bit so they wouldn't misunderstand Yichin." Fu Wanting's face was cold. She said word by word, "What misunderstanding?" I was also at the bar at that time. He was having a tantrum with me. So he deliberately called a female model to provoke me. Do we need to explain the interesting affairs between us as a married couple to you? Whoever is so concerned about our marital affairs, why don't you install surveillance cameras in my home later so you can monitor us 24/7? Her cold gaze swept over everyone. Those she looked at all bowed their heads, not daring to look her in the eye. Who would dare say anything now? If Fu Wanting was just a little unhappy, she could make their families go bankrupt in an instant. They'd have to be crazy to keep harping on this matter. These rich young masters, these bosses play much wilder than this. It's just that they haven't been exposed. The banquet hall fell silent. Everyone held their breath, afraid of attracting Fu Wanting's attention. After the initial shock, once I calmed down, I immediately shook off Fu Wanting's hand and quickly walked towards the entrance of the banquet hall. Fu Wanting frowned and then quickly followed. Lin Yifei bit his lip and chased after them. Just as they reached the door, Fu Wanting was blocked by Lin Yifei. He looked at Fu Wanting as if he was about to cry. "Sister Wanting, have you fallen for my brother?" A look of displeasure flashed in Fu Wanting's eyes. She said coldly, "Yifei, this is a matter between me and Yichen. It has nothing to do with you. How can it not be related?" Lin Yifei's emotions were on the verge of collapse. Tears streamed down his face. "We are clearly the couple. It was he who took advantage of your car accident to interfere. For the past 3 years, you never made your marriage public. Wasn't it to wait for me?" Fu Wanting was silent for a few seconds, then looked at Lin Yifei with an indifferent expression and said, "At first I did want to wait for you, but later I no longer had that thought. Yifei, you will meet someone better. You are the best person, Sister Wanting. I know you still like me, so I won't give up." Fu Wanting frowned tightly. "You are still very young. There's no need to waste time on." Lin Yifei repeatedly interrupted her, saying word by word, "This isn't a waste of time. Besides you, I won't love anyone else." Seeing the determined look in Lin Yifei's eyes, Fu Wanting's gaze turned a few shades colder. She said nothing more and left directly. Fu Wanting returned to the villa and saw me sitting on the sofa in the living room, a flash of anger in her eyes. "Why didn't you wait for me to come back with you?" I didn't answer, calmly looking at her. "Fu Wanting, let's talk." Fu Wanting walked over and sat down opposite me, her eyes covered in a cold frost. "What do you want to talk about?" I pursed my lips. "Let's talk about how you publicly revealed secret marriage at the party tonight." Fortunately, the people who came today were all acquaintances of the Lin family, as long as I make some arrangements behind the scenes. The secret of my marriage to Fu Wanting, no one else will know. Fu Wanting was silent for a few seconds, anger brewing in her eyes. "Lin Yichen, don't you forget, if it weren't for my help, the matter of you hiring female models, who knows how it would have been blown out of proportion," I sneered. But there was no warmth in my eyes. "I don't think I asked for your help. You decided on your own. Besides, what you did has caused trouble for me." Fu Wanting's face was cold. She looked at me with a mocking expression. "What trouble? Did it affect your search for someone new?" I frowned. "Do you have to speak so harshly?" "The truth hurts, Fu Wanting. I don't want to make things so ugly. What will it take for you to agree to a divorce?" Fu Wanting looked up at me, her eyes sharp, saying word by word, "I've said it. I will not agree to a divorce. You should give up on that idea." I took a deep breath, suppressing the anger inside me, trying to look at her calmly. "You don't want a divorce? There must be a reason. My reason is that I don't love you anymore, so I don't want to continue this loveless marriage. I don't know why, just the thought of my future plans without her." An indescribable frustration arose in Fu Wanting's heart. She looked at me coldly. "You chose this marriage yourself. Now it's not your turn to decide." Seeing Fu Wanting turn to leave, I gritted my teeth and said, "If you don't agree, then I'll personally go talk to Grandma about this. You dare!" Fu Wanting's voice was filled with anger. Her gaze looked as if she wanted to eat me alive. I was not intimidated by the threat in her eyes, fearlessly looking straight at her. "If you want to keep dragging this out, I can only ask Grandma to force you to divorce." Fu Wanting stared at my face. After a while, she let out a cold laugh. "Then you can try and see if I'll agree." After she left, my heart was filled with anger. It's clearly just a simple matter of signing. Why won't she agree? Suddenly, the phone on the table rang. As soon as it connected, Shen Hao's voice came through. "Yichen, where did you go? I was just on the phone with my mom just now. When I came back, you were gone. Everyone around is still secretly talking about you. And about your marriage to Fu Wanting. Did you two go public?" My hand holding the phone tightened involuntarily, my knuckles turning a little white. After a long while, I just hummed a low, "What exactly happened? Aren't you two about to get a divorce? I'll explain another day. I'm a little tired today, that's all." After hanging up the phone, I sat on the sofa for a while longer, before getting up to go to the bedroom. In the study, Fu Wanting was on the phone with Keijing. "CEO Fu, the investigation is complete. Tonight's incident was caused by Bai Muchen. When Bai Muchen was abroad, he and Lin Yifei were good friends. He just returned to the country not long ago and has no grudges against Lin Yichen, so tonight's incident is likely related to Lin Yifei." Fu Wanting's eyes grew colder. She said in a cold voice, "Send what you found to my phone." After receiving the notification in her inbox, Fu Wanting opened it and glanced through. Her whole body exuded coldness. She sent a message to Kei Jing, then told Kei Jing to erase all traces before calling Lin Yifei. Receiving Fu Wanting's call, it was a long while before Lin Yifei spoke. Sister Wanting, didn't you say you don't want any relationship with me? Why are you still calling me? Was tonight's incident related to you? Lin Yifei's breathing clearly became heavier. Then he spoke with both grievance and anger. You're suspecting me. Fu Wanting's voice was indifferent. Answer my question. No matter how bad my brother is, he's still my biological brother. How could I harm him? Hearing that, a cold glint flashed in Fu Wanting's eyes. She said in a low voice, You've already investigated this matter clearly. On the surface, it was Bai Muchen, but if I continue to investigate, it's not impossible to find clues. It'll give you one more chance. Was it related to you or not? Lin Yifei was frightened by Fu Wanting's cold tone. It was a long while before he spoke. Yes, I did it. Because I'm sick of seeing you stand by his side. The person beside you should clearly be me. I'm jealous of him. So jealous I'm about to go crazy. That's why I did this. Do you think I'm ridiculous? Fu Wanting pressed her thin lips tightly together, speaking in a cold tone. You'll let it go this time. Don't pull these boring tricks again. I hope you don't destroy the last bit of good impression I have of you. Hanging up the phone, Fu Wanting's heart was full of frustration. It seems the acquisition of NY needs to be accelerated. After handing NY over to Lin Yifei, she won't give Lin Yifei any more chances to get close to her. Early the next morning, I had just woken up when I received a call from Lin Zhen. Yi Chen, are you awake? I could hear a hint of caution in Lin Zhen's tone. I frowned. Is there something you need? Lin Zhen cleared his throat and spoke. Yesterday at your grandfather's birthday party, our family didn't get a chance to sit together and talk for a bit. Today your grandparents have instructed the kitchen to make your favorite dishes. Come back to the old house tonight to have a meal with your grandparents. I finally understood Lin Zhen's attitude, why he was being like this towards me. It's just that their expectations will definitely be dashed. Not to mention my relationship with Fu Wanting is not good. Even if our relationship was good, I wouldn't let Fu Wanting help the Lin family. There's no need, I'm very busy, not sure if I have time to go. Haven't you always been a house husband at home? How could you not have time? I've found a job, I have to go to work now. If there's nothing else, that's all. Lin Zhen was stunned for a moment, until the dial tone buzzed from the phone. He finally reacted. Zhu, who was beside him, pouted with a grim face and said, How did it go? Did he agree to come? Lin Zhen shook his head. He said he found a job and doesn't have time to come. Zhu snorted coldly with a contemptuous expression. What kind of good job could he find? It's not washing dishes at a restaurant, is it? If it's a job like that, you should advise him to quit early, lest he embarrass the Lin family. Lin Zhen looked at Zhu coldly. There was no warmth in his eyes. Yi Chen is Fu Wanting's husband after all. What nonsense are you talking about? If Fu Wanting hadn't been disabled at the time, do you think the Lin family would want a man who didn't even graduate high school to be Fu Wanting's husband? At first, I hadn't finished high school, when I suddenly disappeared for a while. After returning, I never mentioned going back to school. So, within the Lin family, my education level is the lowest. Occasionally, I would even be ridiculed by Ai Fengtai. Every time Zhu would feel extremely embarrassed. If it weren't for Lin Yifei being ambitious, who knows how much she would be ridiculed by Ai Fengtai now. Zhu, I'm warning you. Yi Chen is your biological son, no matter what. I don't have a son like that. They'll just pretend I only gave birth to Yifei. After speaking, Zhu turned and left directly. Lin Zhen looked at Shuru's back, feeling only a headache. He called his assistant to investigate where Lin Yichen works. 10 a.m. Top floor meeting room of Mai Yang Dexon stared at me with an angry face, slammed the file in his hand on the table and said coldly, President Lin, all the employees in the department I manage have been fired now, and new employees haven't been hired yet. The entire department is almost paralyzed. Several partners are rushing for their products. My subordinates have been working overtime continuously, until late at night for over a week. Just in the last 2 days, they couldn't stand the heavy workload and have submitted their resignations to me. You caused this. Shouldn't you give me a solution? As soon as Yang Dexon finished speaking, several other shareholders chimed in. That's right, it's the same on my end. Work is a mess. The work of 3 people is now piled onto 1 person. Who can stand that, if this continues? I think NY will go bankrupt sooner or later. Seriously. Although NY was founded by you, President Lin, you haven't been at the company for years. No matter how many ideas you have, they should be implemented step by step, not all at once. I didn't answer them, but looked at Shen Hao calmly and said, Get the business data for the department. That manager Yang is in charge of for me. Yang Dexon's expression changed. President Lin, what do you mean? You don't believe me? I took the document from Shen Hao and said with a smile, Manager Yang, compared to your character, I trust the data more. After all, the data won't lie to me. Yang Dexon's face turned green with anger, but I had already closed the document and looked at him. My eyes filled with coldness, looking at the document. Manager Yang, you are currently in charge of a total of only 5 projects, of which 3 projects have a deadline of 6 months from now, while the other 2 projects started a year ago and are still not finished. You shouldn't be looking for me, but should be reflecting on yourself. Why your department had so many people before, yet couldn't finish 2 projects in a year. My words made his face turn pale and then red. Yang Dexon felt completely humiliated. Gritting his teeth, he said, "Those two projects are already in their final stages. Besides, everyone else has ongoing projects now. We can't have others drop their work. To clean up these two messes," my expression was icy, "that's your business. How you arrange it doesn't need to be reported to me. What I need is the final result. Besides, your department hasn't closed a single contract so far this year. If the people under you can't generate revenue for the company, I will shut down those departments at the end of the year." Yang Dexiang's face turned ashen. He stared at me with cold eyes. "CEO Lin, this company doesn't belong to you alone. You can't be so tyrannical." I raised my eyebrows at him, saying word by word, "Then let's look at the profits at the end of the year. If your department continues to lose money, it will also affect the dividends of other shareholders." As soon as these words were spoken, the way all the shareholders looked at Yang Dexiang changed. The shareholders who originally intended to cause trouble like Yang Dexiang all felt a chill down their spines. I didn't look at Yang Dexiang anymore and said nonchalantly, "I will set quarterly and annual plans for each department. At the end of the year, whoever falls too far short of the plan will either hand over the department to someone else to manage, or the department will be shut down." Seeing everyone was silent, I stood up and said, "If there's nothing else, today's meeting ends here. Meeting adjourned." Yang Dexiang stared at my back, his eyes filled with gloom. The next few days, I was busy with company affairs. I had no contact with Fu Wanting either. We only saw each other when leaving and returning home each day. Soon, it was the day before Shen Hao's birthday. After work, I went straight to GM to pick up the formal suit I had prepared for Shen Hao. As soon as I entered the shopping mall, I ran into Lin Yifei and Fu Shuhan shopping together. Seeing me, both of their expressions changed. Fu Shuhan frowned at me and said coldly, "Lin Yichen, what are you doing here?" "I'm here to run an errand." Although Fu Shuhan is my father-in-law, I know very well that in his heart, the ideal husband for his daughter has always been Lin Yifei. So no matter how I tried to please him these past few years, he never respected me. But now Yifei come to terms with it. I no longer treat Fu Shuhan with the same caution as before. Seeing that I was about to walk away, Fu Shuhan said with some dissatisfaction, "Since we've run into each other, I want to buy 2 suits. Come here and help me pick them out." Hearing Fu Shuhan's commanding tone, my expression was indifferent. "I have something else to do. Just have Lin Yifei help you look." After saying that, I turned and left. Fu Shuhan was so angry he couldn't stand it. He stared coldly at my back and gritted his teeth. "He's making me so mad. I should have never let Wanting marry him in the first place. Uncle Fu, don't be angry. My brother's personality has always been like that. He didn't mean it." Hearing this, Fu Shuhan's expression immediately became uglier. He frowned and said nothing. Lin Yifei looked at him, wanting to say something but hesitating. He stammered, "Uncle Fu, actually there's something about my brother. I don't know if I should tell you. What is it? Just say it." "My brother went to a bar not long ago and hired female models. Someone saw him, and at our grandfather's birthday, it was even, projected on the big screen. At that time, most of the high society in Longcheng saw it." A flash of anger and disbelief appeared in Fu Shuhan's eyes. He dared to do such a thing? Lin Yifei nodded, saying with a sad expression, "I don't know why he would do that either. Sister Wanting to protect him even revealed their marriage in front of everyone." Fu Shuhan's face was full of rage. He was already dissatisfied with me. Now I had cheated on Fu Wanting. "Yifei, I have something to do. I won't go shopping with you today. Come visit when you're free next time." "Yes, Uncle Fu. But please don't tell anyone that I told you about this. Otherwise, he'll think I'm intentionally bad-mouthing him behind his back." Fu Shuhan patted his shoulder and said, "Yifei, don't worry. I won't tell." Seeing Fu Shuhan leave in a hurry, a triumphant smile appeared on Lin Yifei's lips. I had just picked up the formal wear and stepped out of the mall when I received a call from Fu Wanting. Her voice was icy with a chilling tone. "Where are you?" "In front of Tianda Shopping Mall." "What's up?" "Wait for me there. It'll be there in half an hour." I was about to ask her what was wrong, but Fu Wanting had already hung up. In less than half an hour, Fu Wanting's car pulled up in front of me. Seeing that Fu Wanting was driving herself today, I put the formal wear in the back seat, opened the passenger door, and got in. "Looking for me so suddenly, is something urgent?" Fu Wanting's eyes were full of coldness. She said as she drove, "Going to clean up the mess you left behind after hiring those female models." I frowned. "What do you mean?" "You'll know when we get there." Seeing Fu Wanting drive straight to the Fu family's old house, I finally understood what she meant. Thinking about how I had just seen Fu Shuhan a short while ago, and the Fu family already knew about me hiring female models so quickly, I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. We walked into the living room. Fu Shuhan was sitting on the sofa with an icy expression. Seeing me, his cold gaze was like poison. He looked like he wanted nothing more than to slap me twice. "Wanting, I heard Lin Yichen went to a bar and hired female models. Is this true?" Fu Wanting's brow was furrowed with coldness. She said coldly, "Who was gossiping in front of you?" With a thud, Fu Shuhan slammed the teacup in his hand onto the table. His face was full of anger. "Does it matter who told me? What matters is whether this is true or not." Fu Wanting was about to deny it when I suddenly spoke from behind her. "It's true. You probably didn't call us here just to confirm this, did you?" Before we arrived, Fu Shuhan had already investigated this matter thoroughly and had also seen the surveillance video. At that time, he was so angry he could barely breathe. He looked at me coldly and said with a disgusted expression, "It's good that you dare to admit it. Calling you two here today, there is indeed another matter." I looked at Fu Shuhan with a calm expression, waiting for him to continue. "Lin Yichen, wanting marrying you was you marrying up. Now you've even cheated on wanting. The Fu family will not tolerate you. Divorce wanting." "Okay, I don't agree." Fu Shuhan looked at Fu Wanting in disbelief. "Are you crazy? Lin Yichen has already cheated on you." Fu Wanting's expression was indifferent. "This is a matter between us. I hope you won't interfere." Fu Shuhan laughed coldly. "I won't interfere." "Wanting, have you been bewitched by this brat? He did such a shameful thing and you still plan to stay with him? I already said it has nothing to do with you. Don't interfere in our matters anymore." I suddenly spoke up from the side. "I agree to the divorce, as long as you can get Fu Wanting to sign." Seeing me being so straightforward, Fu Shuhan couldn't help but frown. "You'll divorce so readily?" I smiled. "Didn't you just say it? That I was marrying up with Fu Wanting? Besides, I did indeed hire female models." Fu Shuhan looked at me coldly. You'd better be able to do what you say. If you're not reassured, I can write a guarantee." As soon as the words left my mouth, Fu Wanting couldn't hold back anymore and spoke up. "Lin Yichen, shut up." I turned my head to look at Fu Wanting and said calmly, "You see, everyone thinks we shouldn't be together. Why do you still insist on not getting a divorce?" I feel like I really can't understand what Fu Wanting is thinking. I'm voluntarily stepping aside to let her and Lin Yifei be together. Shouldn't she sign immediately? Fu Wanting was silent for a few seconds, then without a word, she pulled me and left. Fu Shuhan looked at our departing backs, his heart filled with anger. He immediately called Cheng Shumin. "Ah Min, come back for a bit. I have something to discuss with you." After leaving the Fu family's old house, I impatiently shook off Wanting's hand. "Fu Wanting, I'm really tired of this. I don't want to keep dealing with you like this. Can't you just let me go?" Fu Wanting stopped walking. "If you don't want to deal with it, you don't have to see him in the future. If he looks for you, just ignore him." Hearing this, a flash of surprise appeared in my eyes. I never expected Fu Wanting to say such things. "No matter what you say or do now, I won't change my mind about wanting a divorce." Fu Wanting's expression was indifferent. She said word by word, "As long as I don't want a divorce, you can't escape the identity of being my husband. Continuing to argue like this won't lead to any results." I didn't continue this topic either. "I don't want to talk about this anymore today. Let's go home." Seeing the impatience in my eyes, Fu Wanting also felt a surge of frustration in her heart. We returned home in silence. I took the formal wear and went to my bedroom. Early the next morning, I went to the company and gave the formal wear to Shen Hao. "Happy birthday." Shen Hao saw the suit immediately, and his eyes lit up with surprise and joy. He caressed it, unable to let go. "Is this really for me?" "Yeah, it was finished a while ago. I just hadn't picked it up." Shen Hao excitedly hugged me. "Yichen, thanks. I'll wear this suit on my date tonight." I raised an eyebrow. "You have a girlfriend now?" "Yeah." A hint of shyness flashed in Shen Hao's eyes. "When the time is right, I'll bring her to meet you." Seeing the happiness on Shen Hao's face, I was a little curious. What kind of woman could make a man like Shen Hao fall for her? "I was originally going to treat you to dinner tonight, but since you have a date with your girlfriend, let's do it another time." "Okay." After Shen Hao left, I was about to look at some documents. The phone next to me suddenly rang. "Lin Yichen, Wanting has signed the divorce papers. Come to the old house." I frowned. Yesterday, Fu Wanting refused to divorce. Today, she signed so quickly. Did she really sign it? The other end of the phone paused for a few seconds, before Fu Shuhan's sarcastic voice came through. "What do you think? Do I need to lie to you?" I pursed my lips and said, "It'll be right over." After hanging up the phone, sitting next to Fu Shuhan, Lin Yifei spoke with some concern. "Uncle Fu, is what we're doing really a good idea? If Sister Wanting finds out about this, she will definitely be angry." Fu Shuhan's eyes were cold. "You don't need to worry. After she and Lin Yichen are divorced, even if she gets really angry, there's nothing she can do. I'm her biological father. Can she disown me?" Last night, he called Cheng Shumin back and exaggerated the story about me hiring female models, wanting Cheng Shumin to force Fu Wanting to divorce me. Unexpectedly, Cheng Shumin scolded him instead, saying this was their business. She told him not to interfere randomly. Fu Shuhan was so angry he couldn't sleep all night. A philandering man like me, he wouldn't let me continue to be by Fu Wanting's side. Half an hour later, I walked into the living room of the Fu family's old house. The two people who were talking and laughing saw me, and the smiles on their faces vanished. Fu Shuhan tilted his chin and said with a contemptuous look, "The divorce papers are on the table. After you sign, you'll have no relationship with Wanting anymore." I walked straight to the table, picked up the divorce papers, and flipped to the last page. Sure enough, I saw Fu Wanting's signature on it. I picked up the pen and couldn't help but look at Fu Shuhan to confirm. "Is this signature of Fu Wanting's real and valid?" Fu Shuhan laughed coldly. "Of course it's real. I don't need to use a fake signature to trick you." "Then okay." Seeing me sign my name without hesitation, in his heart, Fu Shuhan felt a little annoyed. Shouldn't I have hesitated to sign? Why does it seem like a burden has been lifted? To avoid any further complications, I said directly, "I will now take the divorce papers to the Civil Affairs Bureau for notarization." As soon as I finished speaking, Fu Shuhan said coldly, "I'll go with you, to prevent you from pulling any tricks behind my back." I didn't refuse. Okay. Leaving the Fu family's old house, Fu Shuhan saw the Lamborghini parked at the door and couldn't help but frown. "Did Wanting buy this car for you? You're divorced now, you can't take this car." I didn't expect Fu Shuhan to be so petty, not to mention this car is mine, even if Fu Wanting had bought it for me. I took care of Fu Wanting for 3 years. Taking a car isn't too much to ask, is it? Beside him, Lin Yifei's eyes were red with anger as he looked at me with jealousy. "That's right, brother. You're not thinking of taking advantage of Sister Wanting after the divorce, are you? After he marries Fu Wanting's money would be his money, so he would absolutely not let me take this car." I glanced at them coldly and said with an indifferent expression, "I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you two. This car has nothing to do with Fu Wanting. I'll wait for you two at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau." After speaking, I got in the car and left decisively. Fu Shuhan and Lin Yifei were left behind, breathing in a belly full of exhaust fumes. After arriving at the Civil Affairs Bureau, I waited for over an hour. But Fu Shuhan and Lin Yifei still hadn't arrived. A flicker of impatience appeared in my eyes. I decided to go get it notarized myself. Just as I got out of the car, a black Maybach pulled up in front of me. My pupils contracted, and I unconsciously tightened my grip on the divorce papers in my hand. The next second, the back door of the Maybach was pushed open. Fu Wanting got out of the car and approached me with an icy expression. Her eyes were filled with an anger that was about to explode. As Fu Wanting got closer, I could feel the temperature around me dropping rapidly. She was very angry, or more accurately, I had never seen Fu Wanting this angry before. After standing firmly in front of me, Fu Wanting laughed coldly. "You've got some nerve, daring to unilaterally come to the Civil Affairs Bureau to notarize the divorce papers." No matter how stupid I was, I knew this was done by Fu Shuhan behind Fu Wanting's back. Somehow, Fu Wanting found out the news, which is why she was the one who came. I hid the divorce papers behind my back, raised my head, and looked straight at Fu Wanting without any guilt. "Miss Fu, are you here to get it notarized with me?" Seeing my small gesture, Fu Wanting's eyes were full of coldness. "Lin Yichin, even if you have divorce papers with my signature, as long as I don't agree, this marriage, you can't divorce me." My hand unconsciously tightened. "What will it take for you to agree to a divorce? Do I have to wait until I'm actually with another woman?" Fu Wanting was so angry she laughed. Every word was like ice. "You can try, as long as you're not afraid that the other person will be ruined because of you." I pursed my lips, knowing I couldn't get a divorce today. I didn't want to waste any more time here either. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. Seeing the Lamborghini behind me, Fu Wanting's gaze turned cold. "Whose car is this? For the past few years, I've always been unemployed. I only recently started working and couldn't possibly afford this car." I smiled. "It seems it has nothing to do with you, Miss Fu." After speaking, I didn't care how ugly Fu Wanting's expression was. I drove straight away. Fu Wanting watched the Lamborghini, and as it gradually disappeared from view, her eyes narrowed unconsciously. "Keijing, go investigate who the owner of this Lamborghini is." I had just returned to the ground floor of Mai when I was stopped by Lin Zhen. Seeing the car I was driving, a flash of surprise appeared in Lin Zhen's eyes. "Yichen, did Fu Wanting buy this car for you to go to work?" He had investigated clearly that I was just a regular employee at Mai. I probably found this job just to kill time. I didn't explain. I frowned and spoke. "Dad, are you looking for me for something?" I didn't expect Lin Zhen to come looking for me at Mai. Lin Zhen smiled with a kind expression, his voice also very gentle. "I've been calling you these past few days but couldn't get through, so I had to come find you myself. Come home this weekend. Grandpa and Grandma both miss you." I was silent for a few seconds, then looked at Lin Zhen and said, "I know. If there's nothing else, I'm going to work now." "Then it's decided. On Saturday, I'll have the Lin family's driver pick you up." After Lin Zhen left, I turned around and went into the company. In the blink of an eye, it was quitting time in the evening. I didn't want to go home and face Fu Wanting, so I decided to stay at the company and work overtime. Around 10 p.m., as I was getting ready to leave, I suddenly received a call from Shen Hao. "Yichen, I'm so sad. Can you come be with me?" Shen Hao's voice was laced with sobs. I hurriedly said, "Where are you? I'll be right over." After saying the name of a club, Shen Hao hung up. I hurriedly drove over. On the way, my heart was filled with doubt and worry. Wasn't Shen Hao supposed to be celebrating his birthday with his girlfriend tonight? When I arrived at the private room and saw the messy bottles of alcohol, I couldn't help but frown. Shen Hao was sitting in the corner of the sofa, crying while hugging a bottle of wine. He looked extremely pathetic. I went and sat down next to him and snatched the bottle from his hand. "What happened? Where's your girlfriend?" Perhaps the word girlfriend triggered Shen Hao. Shen Hao immediately started crying even harder, saying intermittently through his sobs, "That cheating bitch! I dumped her." From Shen Hao's account, I finally understood the whole story. Today, his girlfriend asked him out to dinner. He thought she wanted to celebrate his birthday, but unexpectedly, she wanted to break up with him. The reason was that her college first love had returned to the country, and she planned to get back together with him. After hearing this, I gently patted Shen Hao's back. "Don't be sad. It's good to see this kind of cheating woman's true colors early. You'll meet someone better in the future." Shen Hao cried until his eyes were swollen. but he still didn't forget to reach out and snatch the bottle from my hand. "Give me the wine, I want to drink." I put the bottle aside. "Don't drink anymore, you're drunk. It'll take you home." "I'm not drunk, I still want to drink." I didn't want to reason with a drunkard either. I slung Shen Hao over my shoulder and carried him away. After taking Shen Hao home, I was just about to leave when I suddenly realized my phone was gone. I thought for a moment and realized I probably left it in the private room earlier. It was already past 11 when I returned to the club. I went straight to the private room. As soon as I pushed open the door, I saw the person sitting in the middle of the room was an obese woman. She was playing with a silver phone in her hand. I narrowed my eyes and walked up to the woman. "Ma'am, excuse me, the phone in your hand is mine. Can you return it to me?" Because of my appearance, the other people in the room all stopped and looked at me. Everyone had a look of watching a show. It seems this man doesn't know what kind of person Sister Chen is. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so arrogant. Seeing my face clearly, a flash of surprise appeared in Sister Chen's eyes. The man in front of her, compared to her previous men, those crude commoners, was completely different. She had never seen anyone so handsome. She looked at me with a lecherous gaze and said in a flirtatious tone, "Handsome boy, what proof do you have that this phone is yours?" I said patiently. "I can unlock this phone." Sister Chen sneered and nodded. "Okay, let's just say this phone is yours. But I found the phone now. If you want it back, shouldn't you pay some kind of reward? What kind of reward do you want?" "Very simple. Drink these 3 glasses of wine in front of you, and I'll return the phone to you." I looked down at the wine on the table. "Are you serious?" "Of course." I picked up the glass in front of me and drank 3 straight glasses of wine. After putting the glass down, I looked at Sister Chen and said, "Can you return the phone to me now?" Sister Chen smiled and handed me the phone. "Thanks." I turned and left directly, but everyone in the room understood each other tacitly. It seems this man tonight becomes Sister Chen's prey. Looking at my back, Sister Chen's lips curved into a triumphant smile. She said to the person next to her, "Find 2 people to follow him. Bring him directly to my room." Not long after leaving the private room, I felt something was wrong. There was an indescribable burning sensation inside me that made me almost unable to stand steady. I leaned against the wall, about to quickly leave this place. Then a voice suddenly sounded from behind me. "He's over there, quick, get him." A cold light flashed in my eyes. Soon, several tall men surrounded me. One of them reached out to pull me, smiling and saying, "Handsome, come back with us." The moment his hand was about to touch me, I grabbed his wrist and threw him powerfully over my shoulder. The man screamed and fell to the ground. The other 3 saw that the situation was not good and rushed forward together. A minute later, everyone was on the ground screaming. I felt like my body was also reaching its limit. My vision was gradually becoming blurry. I tried to support my body and walked forward quickly. After getting into the elevator, I relied on my sense of touch to press the first floor button, then leaned against the elevator wall, panting. The elevator opened again. After getting out of the elevator, I realized it wasn't the first floor. I frowned. If I go back now, I might run into them. In front of me was a long corridor. I supported my body and walked forward. I don't know how long I walked, I just felt my consciousness gradually fading. Just as my body completely lost its strength and fell to the ground, I suddenly fell into a warm embrace. The most luxurious private room on the 8th floor of Haosheng. Fu Wanting was drinking without saying a word. In front of her were 2 empty bottles of Remy Martin XO. Beside her, young Zixuan said with a dissatisfied expression, "Wanting, you've been drinking non-stop since you got here without saying a word. Are you sexually frustrated lately?" Fu Wanting gave her a cold glance. "If you're not going to use your mouth, you can donate it to someone in need." Qi Yunji sympathetically patted young Zixuan's shoulder. "Can't you see Wanting's been in a bad mood lately? And you're still walking into the line of fire." Suddenly, Fu Wanting remembered something, stood up, and said coldly, "I have something to do. You guys have fun." After leaving the private room, Fu Wanting glanced at her phone. There were no missed calls or messages. In the past, when she was out drinking or socializing, I would always prepare a hangover remedy for her. I'd also occasionally remind her to drink less. Now, even if she doesn't come home all night, I don't ask a single question. A cold glint flashed in Fu Wanting's eyes. She put away her phone, intending to leave. Suddenly, she saw someone holding a silver phone in their hand, and her expression immediately turned extremely cold. That phone was from my birthday last year. He had specially found someone to custom make it. There couldn't be a second one in Longsheng. Fu Wanting blocked the other person and spoke coldly. "Where did this phone come from?" Not long after, Fu Wanting found me and pushed open the bedroom door. The scene before her made her freeze on the spot, her whole body tensed to the extreme. On the big bed in the bedroom, the bedsheet was messy from my struggling. My face was flushed, my brows tightly furrowed, my usually deep, abyss-like eyes were slightly ajar, unfocused but incredibly alluring. Because of my struggling, my collar was slightly open, revealing my firm chest. I was still unconsciously pulling at my collar. "So hot, help me." I tugged at my clothes, my body slightly flushed, like a blazing furnace, radiating scorching heat. Fu Wanting walked over and grabbed my flailing hands. She stared into my eyes and said, "Lin Yichen, how do you want me to help you?" I don't know, my face was flushed and my forehead was already beading with sweat. My whole body was hot. Fu Wanting pinched my chin, enunciating each word. "Look clearly at who I am." The pain from my chin sobered me up for a moment. I struggled to open my eyes. "Wanting." Fu Wanting lowered her head and captured my dry lips, her small hands wrapped around my waist, freely feeling my wonderfulness. I felt like I was being roasted over a fire one moment and plunged into an icy lake the next. The night is still young. When I woke up again, the warmth beside me made me suddenly open my eyes. Seeing Fu Wanting's beautiful face so close, I realized that everything last night was not a dream. I reached up to massage my aching temples, which immediately made my headache worse. Because of my movement, Fu Wanting beside me also woke up. Our eyes met, and for a moment, neither of us spoke.